There we go. We're back. Hello, folks. Oh, it's so sad and rainy here. Let me know how my sound is. Alright, I gotta get out my notes too, because I thought we were gonna get further last week, but we're still doing main quest stuff. I think we gotta follow the dog, but if I hopefully set myself up. I kind of did. Looks like I decided I would abandon. Oh yeah, I was gonna abandon dog meat and come back to that later. We were gonna take Nick with us to Hub of the Problem. Is it too loud? Hey, Phil. Is my microphone cranked up too loud? I think last week we tinkered with it a little bit. I'm not peaking, so that's good. No, I'm not too loud. Okay, was used to silence. Gotcha. Bramble, Omni, hello. Crabs, how fares Pupper? The pooch is better. Had a couple of days of shaking. We were a little worried about some sort of infection, but I think it was more just raw terror. I think the dog had never experienced such a thing, and he was kind of in shock for a couple of days. But now today he was begging for treats and bringing his ball to play, so seems to be in good shape. Yeah, good news indeed. CyberX started a playthrough of Classic Doom. Nice. I don't think I have played that. I don't think I've played original Doom other than probably on some device. You know how it's always like, can it run Doom? Like I've definitely like pulled it up on random old devices to be like, does it run it? And I'll play for a minute and a half and then put it away. But playing all the way through Doom, I don't think I've done since high school. Good game. TTRE208, good evening to you as well. Hey, Raven. Bologna, hello. One of our dogs just got to take her cone of shame off since the last time we streamed. She had to get some bladder stones removed. Oof. Remastered. Ah, okay. Is it the one that has built-in mod support? That was so cool that they did that. Hello, Lauren. Nice. Yeah, I'm excited for the new Doom to come out. It looks beautiful. Like I don't like it. It looks oddly slow paced compared to 2016 and Eternal, but I'm sure that's misleading. Just they're trying to like make sure in the videos that you can see everything that's going on, because there's a lot of chaos in Doom games, even the old ones, but especially in the modern ones, where it can be hard to tell what's going on screen. So they may have been making the videos like a little slower pace just to like let people wrap their heads around what's happening on screen. Your grandmother would place you on her knee and play. That's wild. That is so wild. Like for me, that's extremely wild, because when my grandparents were alive, like, and Doom was around, video games were like Satan's business. So the idea, ooh, the nightingales are here. So the idea of my sweet little grandmother putting me on her knee to play Doom is hilarious. But I know things have changed. Games are more mainstream, and people have gotten past their Satan fears over them. Like now we just accept, oh yeah, games are shooty and violent, and that's all in good fun. Better in video games than real life. Alright, so today we are back to... Okay, we're back to SS2 quest. We're going to start with that. We're going to have to go back to main quest for a minute because we left dog meat behind, and you guys know how I feel about dog meat. We got to have dog meat. So, we're taking Nick with to test a bug someone reported. So we're going to play through Hub of the Problem and then Coolest Cat. And apparently something breaks down when we get to the run. So we're going to test that and find out if that's true. Or if that was somebody's epic load order going on the fritz. Eye of Tamus, how's it going? All the classics, Cyber. Yeah, I've been wondering if they're gonna reboot Quake at all. Like maybe if people start to get tired of Doom, they'll flip over to rebooting Quake to try something different. But they're so similar. Like in Quake always just felt like brown scaled Doom. I mean, I loved that game, and it was really awesome when it came out, and it was definitely some improvements. But I think, like, if you just look at it from the perspective of,
so long as you're carrying it,
like, not necessarily I mean, gameplay was different at the time, but if you looked at it in a modern perspective of, like, there's not stuff in there you're going to port forward in gameplay, right? Everything in games has gone beyond that now, but you could, yeah, I mean, that's what I'm trying to think. What would you port from that, right? Because all the stuff Quake was doing that was unique back then, which was kind of like bringing a story to Doom, because Doom didn't really have one originally. It was, or if it did, it was not in your face. Whereas Quake, I remember having like a narrative that was pulling you through, but it was, again, kind of drab, and like, I don't think it was doing anything so unique that you need to bring it forward. Hey, Slangel. For some reason in my head I was just getting ready to assault this place, but I think we did that last week. Yeah, we cleared this place already. Quake 4 was your intro to the series? Oh, alright. I think that's the only one I've never played. I think I played, because they switched over to the arena shooter, which I absolutely loved that game. Quake 3 Arena, I have crazy hours in. That was actually the game second most modded game for me after Fallout 4 would be Quake 3 Arena. And, let's see, we got a friend over here. But, Quake 4, wasn't that a return to form? Because Quake and Quake 2 were story games, and then all of a sudden Quake 3 was like, nope, this is just the multiplayer. And then Quake 4, they returned back to, story, right? Were you a Fallout fan before 4 or before Bethesda? Oh yeah, I was OG Fallout. But I did not land on the side that a lot of people who came up with the original games landed, which was that, oh, Bethesda screwed up the series. I think Bethesda improved it. I loved what Bethesda's done with it. I think the first-person exploration game goes so well with it. There are certain things I don't love that they did. Like I don't like that in Fallout 4 Power Armor becomes just like a toy right from the get-go versus, the ultimate thing you get to look forward to. There's some little things, but it's all nitpicky stuff. Like, I like the general direction they've taken the franchise.
What's that?
Oh god. Oh god.
Hey, what's that?
A dead super mutant. That's what that is.
What the?
Wait, do we got raiders too? Can we pop them on?
Hey, I think someone's out there.
Oh, just your
Nothing there
imagination.
now. What do you think?
It's all good, raiders.
Jumping in shadows. Yeah, you're probably right. Gotta cut down on the jet, I guess.
I am playing on PC, so all of my Xbox playthroughs got put on ice because I know the next gen update, some people say it helps Series X, but for me it just makes it a crash fest. I can't even play on Xbox. So both of my Xbox playthroughs are retired currently. I thought, because I had originally thought, oh, this maybe it's just. Wait, do I have the missile launcher, right? Because we used it to blow up. What's his name? Yeah, we've got one. We're good. So yeah, my Xbox playthroughs, I had originally, so I canned one of my playthroughs thinking it was because I'm on an older model, and my older model has in the past gotten to the point where it's like just crashing with any game, no mods or anything. So I went and got a Series X because I needed it for testing Starfield stuff. And then I started to play through on that, and that one was crashing too. So now I believe it's just the next gen update just kind of screwed up my game. I think it's just unplayable with mods that have face data, which is obviously any story mods. So that includes SS2. I think on next gen update is basically unplayable, which is very unfortunate. Bethesda's supposed to come out with a sequel to Prey, but they canceled it. Yeah, and then Prey's name got taken over by Arcane, which that Prey was also awesome, but totally different than the original Prey, right? How was the wedding? Wedding was fantastic. Really well put together, and it was a good time. I got to see a lot of my family, which I don't see very often anymore. Okay, I think we're out of danger zone now. No more random super mutants to pop us with a missile. Uh-oh. Totally frozen. Can you guys still hear me? Hopefully that's just saving on the edge of downtown Boston. Risky business. Okay, you guys hear me? Cool. I grew up with Fallout and Elder Scrolls. I like Envy the most. One after that, didn't get a 4 before months. See, I remember loving Fallout 1, but then the time limit screwed me over. And at the time, that was my first experience playing it, and I was just like, I didn't want to go do it again. And I was just like, well, if I start over, I'm gonna run into the same problem because there's not enough time to explore the whole map. And I think that was by design originally. They wanted you to have every playthrough feel different, but I always play RPGs completionist, so I wanted to explore every corner of the map, and it's not really possible to do that in Fallout 1, so I liked Fallout 2 better. So for me, I get why people love New Vegas. I did not love it the first time I played it. It was in my second playthrough that I fell in love with it. Fallout 3 I loved the first time. So I think my order of favorite is probably... I mean, it's Fallout 4 now. Like, if I were to go back and play through them all back to back, I would probably love 4 the most, just because I have so much time in this and the gameplay is all modernized. But if I was just choosing from, like, trying to ignore gameplay advancements, I think it's probably, for me, 2, New Vegas, 4, 3, and then everything else. So, 1, 76. I'm actually a fan of, not the Brotherhood of Steel game, the one that gets memed, the other Brotherhood of Steel game, the one that was like a tactical game. That was really fun. But yeah, I get why NV is beloved now. Didn't understand the first time. 76, yeah, is I played through 76 and I hated it when it first came out. I think everybody did because it was busted. And then when they did the Wastelanders update, I really had a good time with playing through it once. But when I got to the end game, 76 to me was like, oh no, this is an MMO. I can't have these in my life. They're bad. They're dangerous. Very dangerous for me. I get very addicted. So I had to cut it out of my life. Conqueror did a lot to get me into Fallout 4 actually. Oh, nice. And I'm still hoping Conqueror can make a return one day. The person that is in charge of writing it, I talked to him last week, and he's still poking away at finishing up, bringing it to modern times. All right, I'm going to take a quick pause from chat because I want to get this going.
Quite a locale.
Hey, Slick. Say, you spoke to any of the people around that old theater? Those glazed eyes, creepy smiles. You read any of their little pamphlets? I tell you, they ain't right in the head.
What's with the outfit?
Felt a tad underdressed after our last adventure. What with the bullets flying everywhere and such.
He's gonna hide behind his shoulder.
Anyway, as I
but he
said
forgot
in
his
my
helmet.
message, I've been unable to
Oh,
get
sorry,
our
got
comm
dented.
hub running.
That's right.
Honestly, given the state of it, I'm not surprised. Tech like that ain't designed to be left sitting around unused. Too many of its components have seized up or just degraded over time.
Anything I can do to help?
As a matter of fact, yeah, there is. If we want more out of ASAMs, we need a comm hub that works. But as it is, I don't have what we'd need to repair the one we have. However, fortune has smiled upon us. A friend of mine discovered where we might find a second comm hub, in better condition. As well as a nice stockpile of ASAM products to boot. So if you'd care to join me, I want to go check this place out.
Is there anything else I should know?
Nothing that's relevant. So, you ready to go check this place out?
Sounds good. Let's go.
I knew I could count on you. With luck, we may just find ourselves a working comm hub. Or at the very least, a few ASAM goodies. Here, let me update your Pip-Boy map. There we go. Alright, lead on.
Okay. Off we go. Phil, why do I keep getting asked to pay and build when I select the building with all SS2 options off? And WS Plus on free build. It may have been a side effect of the changes we made to allow for class-based selection. So we did a change to the building plan selection recently where you could select a class, and then rather than it immediately just picking a random one of that class, it would show you all of the options of that class type. And it may be that as a side effect, it changed the way that menu is handled. Is Star Trek Online a thing? I didn't even know that was a thing. Is it still a thing? I know there's a lot of like dead MMOs out there. Is that a modern one or something? Or is that a deceased one?
It seems
It's
to be
still
the
a
right
thing?
address. Records say a lot of ASAM stuff is delivered here.
No, the
Apparently, they
MMOs
were
that I got
expecting a
hooked
combo,
on,
too.
I get hooked on not just MMOs, like
Wait.
any type of
You hear that?
persistent, like
don't think we're
progress-based
alone
multiplayer game. Like for me, it
What's
was
about you while we look around?
World of Warcraft was the worst one, and then the second worst one was Destiny. I got really into Destiny.
Good.
Not exactly so, pal. Read the
That's over. You we get them all? Are there any more? Scared the crap out of me. Come on. Let's check
I like
out
how he
that
just
terminal
sat down
over
and had a drink while he waited for me to start the fight with
doing
the
them
ghouls.
much good at this point.
Lachlan, this is too eating pasta. Nice.
there. And that's how it's done. Ugh, that better be the last one. All right. Looks like we're in the Vault Tech headquarters for the Commonwealth.
Carver under the limitations of the voice to PC, but my gosh, the VA RSS2 are so good it feels off somewhat.
Assuming this is the right place. Why would a Vault Tech facility be having ASAM
High praise for
equipment
Tom,
delivered?
right?
Didn't one of the ASAM sensors talk about Robco being in partnership with Vault Tech? Maybe that's why.
Why is that important?
Hold that thought. Just found the employee records. There's a name in here. Magnuson. Have we heard that name somewhere before?
Sorry? You say something?
If it's not too much to ask, could you please pay attention? I was asking about a name on this
That was so
terminal.
perfect because I was actually just reading
Oh,
chat,
wait.
not listening to Jake.
I remember. We read the same name on a different terminal. The one at the satellite station. Thanks for jogging my memory. It was a Magnuson who had the comm hub we found shipped to Olivia. Huh. Maybe this guy was in charge of delivering hubs or something? This seems like something we should look into. Maybe this Magnuson had an office here. Let's see if we can find it.
Hey, Emery, how are you? Star Wars Galaxy 0 MMO. Man, I knew... So my World of Warcraft guild was this group of folks who were all together from Star Wars Galaxies, and they would talk about it constantly. Like, that was the core of my raiding group. And I brought them on. I took over as a guild leader to handle all our raiding. And then they were in, they had like started a guild in World of Warcraft, and then they had me run their raids for them. So it was like this bunch of Galaxies guys and me. They were good times. Good people.
I don't think we're alone.
Wait. Oh, nice eye, Jake. Didn't even see that one. Oh, it's Frank. Hey, Frankie. I think this is one of ours. Ben Arnold's terminal. Bye, Frank. I've never seen him come out here. Does he do this all the time for you guys? Oh, looks like I needed that paintbrush for some reason. I don't remember what I'm tracking. I mean, it's not a big deal if he comes down, other than... Actually, let's go see if we can see... Can we sequence break? Let's test this. Alright, let's do is drop a save here. I want to make sure we can't sequence break and start the next scene. So we can go down here now.
Going down. Basement.
Okay, Jake's not starting his little dialogue scene, so that's good.
Hey, Walter, it's Ben. The boys upstairs have been pestering me again about that hub thing. Are you sure it didn't arrive? I tried calling Donna at Boston Direct, but she said they'd already shipped it out. Maybe it got sent to another one of our warehouses? Ah, whatever. For now, just move all the other Robco crap down to the sub-basement. It's suspicious as hell having it out in the open, and I still don't trust Magnuson. For all we know, he could be a Robco plant. Alright, I'll see you later at the post. You still owe me that drink.
Okay, now there was something that... So Rick, are you watching? I think he's crashed out. He's on a more normal schedule today. So originally when we set this place up, we wanted it a little bit different, and I couldn't figure out a good way to do it, but that was years ago, and I've learned a lot more, and I think I could do exactly what he wanted, and I have to ask him again. I'm going to put on a note for myself to ask him about it. But we were talking about... Hold on, I need to get myself a new sheet for the day for notes. Originally there was going to be... And I think we still have it recorded. On that holotape, I believe, or on this terminal, one of the two, there was a note about a button. And we ended up putting the button over there, but I think the intention was for it to be like under the desk and it would open up something over here. And it was basically going to be a little less obtuse than it is now. Like the mats thing, I know people have figured it out, but the amount of bug reports we got on the mat thing was crazy. So I'm going to ask Rick about... Hub of the problem. Basement. Holotape slash and mats. So Rick and I's relationship tends to be that I tell him to not learn too much about the game engine because I like when he asks me to do things that he's never seen before. Because I don't want somebody to just like limit themselves to what they've seen done, because sometimes if we get creative we can do crazy stuff, and if you just leave it to us who know what we're doing, we will take the easiest route to pull off things. So I generally just ask him to like just come up with whatever you think will be cool, and we'll try and make it work. So he probably had way better ideas than what I ended up doing. Let's see here. Hardened sniper rifle is 77. Tuned sniper rifle is 62. What's the difference between these? Hardened 77, 215 range. The accuracy is slightly higher. This just sounds like a better rifle, right? But like looking at the stats, the hardened is just straight up better. Why is that? The fire rate is a little bit faster, but not fast enough to make up these differences. Looks like we can strip some parts off of this and put it on this, maybe? Or vice versa. I can take the receiver off of this and stick it on this one, so I'll hold on to both of them. But either way, this can replace our calibrated hunting rifle, I think. Yep. Alright, cool. SWG was a failed experiment, truly social online game, but very flawed, but I miss it. That's, I mean, everybody I know who played it was always like, man, that game was phenomenal, and there's never been anything quite like it since. Which is always sad. Too bad Blizzard never made a World of StarCraft MMO. I would just like to see them get back to RTS, man. Although now I think all the people who made...
You building a collection or something?
StarCraft and Warcraft 3 and 2 are all probably gone. I think a lot of those folks they're working on a new RTS now that got kickstarted.
Going up.
And I think it went into early access, and I think people hated it. So, not a good sign.
Lobby.
But yeah, I do remember them. They were working on, for the longest time, Blizzard was working on turning StarCraft into more than just RTS. They had the Ghost game they were working on that looked really awesome. I had been very looking forward to laying down some nukes as a Ghost. That'd have been fun. And now we get to do it in Fallout games. Alright, let's see if we can figure out why Frankie escaped from his office over here. Trade. This is not Frank's office. Yeah, I thought, isn't Frank on the top floor usually? How the hell did he get all the way down here? Oh well. Doesn't hurt anything. Doesn't, we just tried, doesn't sequence break. We'll see if it does sequence break now at the end, like if it, me having already opened things, breaks something. And then if so, we'll have to set up Frank to like not enable until after he's meant to. I DM'd Brannigan's voice actor today, and he's going to get me that line we talked about a couple weeks ago, so we can get Brannigan's quest tweaked slightly, so that timing works a little better for the level people are at. So that's awesome. So our cleanup plan is going well so far. Roger's note. This feels vanilla. Yep. Oops, I don't know why I grabbed that, but that's okay. Now pick the lock and leave the back door and break it. Does that break things, Garbok? Let's go try that before we rush ahead, since this is the goal here is to try and break the mod and plug these holes. Flint Iron Stag, hello. If I recall correctly, hardened tuned refers to the receiver. The hardness higher than tuned. Ah, okay.
Going down.
Something on that tuned one looked more modern though, right? Like it looked like it had
Basement.
less handmade parts, so it feels like there's something on there that I want. Dave C. Just, hello. Learned something new about PCs. They don't like cat hair. 4 cats on a PC, yeah. Oh, that sucks. Well, we learned a couple weeks ago that PCs also don't like water in the USB ports, from my side of things, so I'm with you on the making, or finding out the weaknesses of computers, although I think everybody already knew about my weakness. StarCraft team split from Blizzard, made Frost Giant games. That's right, Stormgate. And Stormgate have things improved over there? I remember when the early access came out, they were getting reamed for like losing their edge. All right, let's see here what happens if I.
Lock's really strong.
Okay, we're gonna go with. Do I have all? No. Okay, we're gonna just cheat this just for the sake of testing. We're gonna run an unlock on this if I can. Oh, hold on, my mouse got unplugged. Just a second. Be right back. Okay. There we go. So the mouse on my second computer, which I came with, was unplugged for some reason. Alright, let's select the door. And we'll run unlock. Boop. And now let's see what happens if we go outside. There's a ghost mod for 4? For Fallout 4? Hey, Justin Greenstead, how are you? Frankie will sometimes leave if you want or make enough noise. Okay. I mean, as long as it doesn't break the quest, I don't mind. Woody, the Gath, I love this mod. Really nice work despite the hiccups. What kind of hiccups are you having? We are, this whole stream is about fixing those hiccups. That's what we're doing right now, trying to test if I can break some of these quests, and we will pop right into the CK and try and fix it. Hey, Zuzo. Hope the whole using network resources for Workbench and HQ works now. Good question. I don't know. I haven't played around it with the workbenches in HQ in a while. But HQ will come when we get to it. We're gonna just do one quest at a time. Well, I will address like side quests and systems as we touch on them. But we're just chapter 1 is in surprisingly good form, knock on wood. But I went through our entire back catalog of bug reports on our internal Git, and there were only 2 reports for all of chapter 1 remaining, which felt really good. So now we're looking at edge cases here. Daisy just, I loved the newspaper quest in Concord. Are you planning to add to that? We're not the only stuff we'll be adding to the mod will probably be main quest stuff. We're not really looking to add any more side quest. For a brief while, we had a side project going to add a lot of new unique dialogue to the side characters, but we just didn't have the manpower to make that happen. Like, our team is really small. Okay, so Jake and Nick are with us. So maybe car rocket break, because it looks like they're going to just follow us right back in here. Maybe it breaks if I do it once the dialogue sequence with Jake starts. We'll try it again in a little bit. And I have that saved from before I can reload too if it... No idea what's happening with Stormgate. To be honest, I stopped keeping up with it shortly after announcement. It didn't look great. It looked a little too... I don't know. Something looked off about it. It felt like they were worried too much about the cinematic and not just about making a great RTS. That was the takeaway I got when they first announced it. Was like, I know Blizzard and cinematics are synonymous, but like, we understand you guys are an upstart studio. You don't need to spend the money on that. Like, just focus on making a cool game. Adds the ghost suit and a rifle to Sanctuary. Oh, that's kind of neat. Did they do a good job of it? StarCraft 2 Nova Ghost outfit and rifle 4K on Nexus. Nice. So did you see the LFO4 Steam branch got an update 20 days ago? Another patch coming soon? I hope so. I hope it's fixing this silly bug that breaks things on Xbox. That would be wonderful. But no, I did not see that. If Juicehead doesn't make the insane update on Fallout 4, I don't know what's going on with it. Okay, we're gonna go up one more level now. Oh, the see-through scope's bug on where there's smoke. Yeah, when we get to where there's smoke, I'll probably stop and somebody remind me that I said this, because I could also see myself being like, nope, we're only doing base mods, but that one I will make an exception for. When we get to where there's smoke, everybody clip this and remind me I said so. I will install where there's see-through scopes and replicate the issue and see if we can come up with a workaround. I was fairly certain we did a workaround at some point, but you guys are telling me that's not the case. So I think we got some work to do.
Hey, look there. I think we found the office. Ah, good. Got a working terminal. Just give me a second here.
Take that, alien. Okay, here's a little thing we'll fix. This was supposed. This is a much bigger picture. We need to put it in a wider frame. I know it's a small issue, but Cynical spent a lot of work making that beautiful picture.
Oh, come on. All right, terminal, US. Finally, I'm in. Okay, let's see what we can learn. Huh. Well, I never. I think I discovered why Vault.
Here's another one we can fix. This horrible Jake camera angle.
Like Vault was trying to develop a rival product to the ASAM sensors.
Camera angle. I'm writing notes because we're gonna jump into the CK in a minute. But first, I want to finish up going through this quest. Angle at terminal in mag office. I think there's another one here. Is when you try and look at this terminal, it doesn't work. Player can't use terminal. Use term.
Are you sure?
I'm fairly sure. Seems this Magnuson was hired by Vault-Tec because he used to work with Robco and the ASAMs. They must have wanted his insider knowledge. Although, judging by his terminal entries, I don't think this guy took his job here very seriously. Scratch that. He really didn't take his job seriously. In fact, he was using his position here to embezzle company equipment.
I mean, it looks like it's not as bad as usual, Torberg, because sometimes I've seen videos people make of it, and it's just like clipping into his teeth, and you see that horror show. But it is like an intense angle right now.
Oh, yeah?
The nerve on this guy. He was actually stealing from Vault-Tec. Building materials, computers, robots. Hell, he was even stealing their ASAMs, and... Oh, I don't think we're gonna find a second comm hub here.
I don't know why he just pulled his gun on me.
Why? What's going on?
Vault-Tec were expecting a comm hub to be shipped here. But this Madison guy hijacked the delivery. Had it sent to Olivia instead. What we came here to look for, we've already found.
How do you know?
Madison wrote an entry all about it. It's almost as if he was bragging. Apparently he walked into a shipping depot, bold as you please, and switched the shipping label on the comm hub's crate. Seems like he'd been pilfering equipment from Vault-Tec for months.
It's okay. You couldn't have known.
Thanks. Appreciate the kind words. Looks like we're stuck with the hub we have. But it does sound like Vault-Tec were working on something similar. Maybe we should investigate this rival product of theirs. Hey, maybe it's something we can use? The terminal said this place has a warehouse where they worked on projects. I'm thinking we should take a peek down there. Although terminal also said we'd need to take an elevator. And we already know we'll need a keycard for that. Alright, we found what we need. Let's go take that elevator.
Yeah, it's fine. It worked well enough. Dave suggests Jake's daughter barely got to know her. Any added dialogue for her? No, she was real challenged. Like working with kids is tough. I see why Bethesda uses so few child voice actors. So I almost certainly we won't be adding any more dialogue for her. Let's see. Never saw that nameplate. Yeah, I focused on it because it's one of those things where because you don't know how important that character is or that name is, it seemed like throwaway. So then like little touches like that, I appreciate that. Sir Rick had the art team do that kind of stuff because it means a lot more once you get to chapter 3. Like during chapter 2, you know, it seems like what was all that Magnuson stuff for? It was nothing, and then chapter 3 is like, oh, okay. One thing you may want to fix was the cutscene picking up faster every time I stop playing. Come back here, I always forget and grab the holotape on the desk. Yeah, I almost made that mistake too of like playing the holotape. Yeah, we could probably force it into the cutscene immediately when you get in here. But I think this log we added during chapter 3 because once we had, I think we didn't even have Magnuson's voice actor during chapter 1, so we couldn't record all those. So then it was like, come back and add those in. All right, so we're gonna fix this photo because it actually was meant to be a wide frame. We used the wrong model to swap it, so there's actually a better looking version of that image, which is Magnuson with House. And yeah, let's go ahead and play this log.
I was more than apprehensive the first time I met the lovely Miss St. James. After all, she was there to strike a deal with Robco, who just usurped my research. All so they could make a quick buck. But I needed a new patron, and Vault-Tec's pockets are deep. Vault-Tec. The very company I'd hoped to outshine with my little venture. The irony is certainly not lost on me.
So did you guys have the plot of Magnus sleeping around in the officers at Vanilla? No, that's us. Magnuson is our character. We made him up. But I appreciate that you didn't know that. So,
A lot of people out
yeah, that
there
was all
use a
that
hand.
stuff was added in by us. We snuck a lot of stuff in this place. But I know a lot of people have played with the mod for so long, it's hard to recognize. I mean, we're coming up a 5-year anniversary this year. Come October. I think we released it on Bomb Drop Day, right? So it'll be October 23rd this year. Fallout Day this year is the 5-year anniversary of SS2, which is wild. Gotcha, are you planning to add a new villain to continue the story, or is it done? No, the main story is done. the additional stuff we want to add to this are things to give you some more background info on the main characters. So we have like the 7 department heads in HQ. So it's like Jake, Aiden, Mansfield, Teresa, Cassandra. Who am I missing? Jake, Lupe, and new guy, Salvador. So we obviously you get a ton of stuff on Jake, right? So we consider complete. Other than we do want to add some more companion dialogue for him, for people who unlock him as a companion at the end. But the other characters, we wanted to have like a little background quest, side quest available for each of them that we want to tackle. And then there is a character that was meant to go to HQ that never got added. There's actually 2, but one of them may never make it in production, but the other one probably will. And then we want to backfill in what happens to Algernon after Chapter 2, because he was supposed to make an appearance in Chapter 3. We had scheduled conflicts with the voice actor, so we just cut his content, and now we need to go back and do it. So those are the big pieces of content that we still are going to be adding. I am going to be adding, at some point, a kind of post-end game system where you can declare war on factions, like declare war on the super mutants or declare war on raiders, and then they will start taking territory like the Gunners did in Chapter 3, so that you can kind of just play indefinitely, like turn it into kind of like a 4X game where you just set up the game with like there's just invasions everywhere and you're trying to fight them back. That'll be a feature in a late update to the mod, like when we're done with most of our bug fixing and such.
Going up. Lobby. Lobby. Going up.
Can you tell me what happens to Vault-Tec on the moon? They just exist in Chrysler forever?
Basement.
We don't answer that question because the goal with all that stuff, anything with Vault-Tec is we have to deal with the fact that Bethesda has their own idea what happened, right? So we kind of left it in a plausible deniability state where it's like, okay, maybe. Oh yeah, see, I think we broke things. Jake's not doing his thing. So you're right, Garbach. I think that does break it. I don't know what broke it. Is it killing what's his name too early? Is it walking outside? Yeah, Jake did not make it down here, and nothing occurred. So, okay. All right, so we're gonna make a save here. But anyway, for the Vault-Tec stuff, we kind of leave it as like, maybe what's her name is. I'm not gonna say the name because somebody reminded me spoilers alert. But maybe she's lying, right? Maybe she's not actually the important person, since she's clearly been lying a lot. Stuff like that, where it's like we tried to touch as close as we could to give some depth to the lore without it, and still having like deniability so that it can remain canon in our heads when we learn more. Especially now that the TV show is delving into the same subject, right? You've got they declared somebody as kind of the head of Vault-Tec, and it seems like they're leading toward a plot line that's going to reveal that Vault-Tec started the war, is what the show looks like it's doing. Spoiler alert if you didn't go watch it. So whatever we answered with the Vault-Tec stuff, we did it in a way where we're like, this seems feasible and could exist alongside whatever lore Bethesda wants to do, so that you don't have to like play Fallout 5 and then hear something and be like, oh, that ruins some settlement story for me. All right, so we're gonna go save. Hub broken. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll back to the last save we made before we went outside. Should be this one. Actually, no, we're going to do this one before we went to the basement. I kind of want to do both. All right, let's load this one. I'm going to save it with a console save, so I have all these for research. And then we're going to go and play through all that stuff again. I'll speed through the dialogue this time. So this is save unlock door sequence break. Because I don't know if it's the coming into the basement which breaks things or the going outside. I don't know what exactly is breaking it. So now I want to load back up to... Which one was it? This one. So this is before we ever used the elevator key. Because I need to figure out what exactly is sequence breaking it if I want to fix it. So now I want to go to each of these, and we're going to have to play through this a couple of times. This is the fun troubleshooting part. So let's assume at first that just opening the door and going outside is what sequence broke it. So now we'll play through it all really quick, and as long as things continue from here, we know it's just the leaving the cell. Otherwise, I will assume it's probably coming to the basement, and then we can solve that by just either not letting Frank spawn right away,
Going up.
or putting the key card somewhere else.
Lobby.
Don't consider it canon, it's quasi-canon. I liked the Fallout show. I thought I did a good job. I was but I went in expecting like meh. I was like, well, at least they got a good showrunner. Like it's one of the Nolan brothers. Like I loved season 1 of Westworld. I'm also half expecting them to ruin it with season 2, because Westworld, I feel like, just totally got terrible after the first season. So I'm expecting the same of the Fallout show. And if I keep my... Oh, hello, buddy. Expectations nice and low, they can only impress me. Okay.
Hey, look
Oh, there it
there.
is.
I think we found the office. Ah, good. Got a working terminal. Just give me a second here. Whoa! This is some serious security. Ah, damn it. Can't...
Right. Uh-huh.
Time to speedrun.
What makes you think that?
These...
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. That's a hell of a risk.
Then...
Why? What's going on?
Voltec were expecting a comm hub to be... Well, we came here to look for...
I like you're
already
thinking
found.
swaps rocks. Wait, how do you say that? Swaps rocks? No season 2 of Westworld. Yeah, that's how I feel about Heroes.
It's okay.
That show, phenomenal first season, like one of my favorite
Thanks.
of television, and then just
Appreciate
all
the
that
kind
everything
words.
after that was like, what the hell are you guys
Looks like we're
doing?
stuck with the hub we have. But... Maybe we should invest... The terminal said this place... Although...
Hey, Yogi, how are
We
you?
found what we need. Let's go take that elevator.
Okay, now we go test and see if we sequence broke doing that.
Going down. Basement.
Stinks down here.
Okay, I think he said that last time too. But then he disappeared. So yeah, so I think it's just the act of leaving the cell and coming back somehow breaks it, which is really weird.
Ugh. Gross.
What you doing, Jake?
We're missing something. Let's keep looking.
Oh yeah, but even this broke things because he didn't say anything. He didn't say like, spread out and look around the place or anything.
I'm not seeing much. How about you? Hey, nice work.
Well, but at least he's
Hidden
down here.
trapdoor,
So,
huh?
so yeah,
Now
so
we're
it's
talking. Well, after you.
going outside. Breaks hub of the problem. Alright, so we're gonna finish this quest, and then because we're still investigating another issue that was reported about the Ron. So I want to get to that, and then we'll pop open the CK and start messing with stuff. Now that we've got a nice set of saves.
Ah, now this is more like it. Let's go take a look-see, shall we? Check this place out.
Collecting dust.
Vault-Tec really were trying to make a rival product. Although it looks
Well,
like they're
ain't
trying to
that a
skip the whole
blast from the
R&D
past?
phase and just reverse engineer everything. In partnership, my ass. Huh. What a weird setup. I wonder, what were they trying to do with these ASAM sensors? Don't suppose you've any ideas?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Well, even though they never got their hands on the comm hub, it doesn't seem to have stopped Vault-Tec trying to rip off ASAM technology. Question is, what do they come up with? Let's split up and see what we can uncover down here. Let me know if you find anything interesting.
Why do I need a shovel? I know I need shotgun shells. Alright, we're taking the shovel. It says we need it. Trying to find the key. I always miss the keys. I know they're on one of the shelves over here. Oh no. Bag of cement problem again. Where's our dog meat to carry our bags of cement? What happens if you use all the don't care options in Jake's questions? So there's like an invisible tracking thing going on about what kind of person you are with Jake, and it determines the quest led by example, the ending you get from it, and what it can mess with the whole ending of the mod is determined on the type of person you were to Jake.
You want
So
me to take a
there
look
are
at that terminal?
three
Straight
different
away.
possible
Always had a way with machines.
paths that things can go in Chapter 3 based on how you were with Jake throughout the rest of the mod.
Hey,
I'm listening.
think you can unlock that terminal?
Sure thing.
I don't know why they got rid of this feature in Starfield. It's a nice little feature. I always forget about it, but... Take these.
It's all yours.
Oh, I don't think I've ever read these. Labs finish at last and not a moment too soon. Magnuson starts tomorrow. Unsure if we can pull this off, but we need our orders from the top brass. We'll need to step lightly. We can't raise Magnuson's suspicions. So far, so good. Magnuson has settled in. Has supplied us with plenty of blueprints and specs for ASIM technology. As far as he knows, it's all for theoretical prototyping. Idiot. It's been a tough few months. We made great progress reverse engineering the ASAM operation subroutines from retail units, despite the crazy amounts of encryption. What's more, our head office delivered a whole bunch of holotapes this morning. We had to go through them all, but some contained code for unreleased plot types, and one tape even had ASAM construction schematics. Ted's already adapted an assembly press and fed in the schematics. Should give us an ample supply of sensors to experiment with. Damn, things were going so well, but we've hit a roadblock. Even with blueprints, we can't replicate key comm hub components. Tried making small talk with Magnuson, attempting to wrangle more information out of him, but he seemed cagey. Maybe I was pushing too hard. Maybe he just doesn't know as much as he made out. So much for being a genius. If Magnuson's unable to give us the information we need, we'll have to make other arrangements. Davison was not happy, but when I explained our head of research and development wasn't playing ball, but he said he'd handle it, and boy was he not kidding. Somehow he secured us access to the actual comm hub, but only for 1 week. That's how long we have to study and replicate it before I need to ship it back to Robco Warehouse. The hub's still not here, and in 2 days we have to ship it back. How the hell do I ship back something we don't have? Oh god, someone's gonna find out what we've been doing. I am so screwed. Oh, that's great.
Huh? What you messing with there? Well, I'll be. Looks like Vault-Tec had themselves a ASAM printer. But I think its printing days are long behind it. They must have needed a steady supply of sensors to experiment with. Guess they got tired of buying them from Robco. Say, if this thing could construct a whole sensor, then let me check something. Woohoo! Jackpot! You know a machine can't make something if it don't got the schematics for it.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Well, would it surprise you to learn that this thing has a copy of the schematics needed to build ASAMs? I wonder who Vault-Tec paid off for that. Let me just download a copy of this. I'm sure Vault-Tec won't mind. And there we are. We may have to adapt and substitute a few parts, but now we'd be able to build as many sensors as we want. No more scavenging for them. This is a real game changer. Good find, Slick. But I reckon we've still not uncovered everything that's here yet. Let's keep looking around.
Starfield is a valiant effort. Nothing wrong with trying something new that I prefer Fallout 5. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's like, it is technically super impressive. We've been actually, because we're working on a Starfield project right now at KGC, and we're constantly amazed when doing Xbox testing how much it can handle. Like, they have massively improved the engine as far as like how much stuff it can render and everything. And then there's a lot of new tools in the CK that are phenomenal, like the there's a thing called an effect sequencer that effectively lets us do like complex animations and stuff right in the CK instead of having to go to, I mean, we can't do full-blown animations, there's still limitations on it, but we can do a lot of stuff in there that we cannot do easily in Fallout 4 or Elder Scrolls.
Uh-huh.
What's all that ruckus about? Would you look at this thing? What were Vault-Tec trying to do here? And what's that noise it's making? Ugh, must be something wrong with it. All right, let's take a closer look here. Huh. This machine's picking up some kind of radio signal. Seems like it's trying to connect to something nearby. Hey, do me a favor. Go to that table with the ASAMs in the other room.
It adds removes mods between Unity runs.
All right, there should be a switch there. Flip it off.
Like
and
it
cut the
messes with
power
your
to
load order
sensors.
after you do a Unity run, because that's terrible. So, although that would be a really great time to do it, right? It would be that would be a nice feature to be like, pause your game if you want to mess with your load order, do it now, because then you could have, because it effectively just starts a new save file and sets your character
All right, come on back.
to have its old stats and stuff. It'd be really cool if you could easily switch like different load orders for different Unity jumps, because then you could make it feel like a new universe, right?
Hey.
Yep, that confirms what I thought, all right.
Oh?
The signals this machine was picking up, they were coming from those ASAMs. They were emitting the radio signals.
Makes sense, I suppose.
Exactly. When you shut off the power to the ASAMs, we shut off the signal. Simple deduction. I didn't know the sensors could do something like that. Emit a radio signal, that is. But that begs the question. Just what is this thing? Why is it trying to pick up signals from sensors? Just what kind of ASAM technology were Vault-Tec trying to copy here?
Here.
What you got there? Technical documents, huh? You already had these? Not that I'm complaining, but is there anything you come across that you don't pick up? Well, I'll be. According to these documents, this machine is Vault-Tec's attempt to duplicate a comm hub. I mean, it's not exactly a good attempt, but still, I suppose an effort was made. Not much a rival product, though. Doesn't even seem to work right. I guess after Magnuson stole the hub, Vault-Tec were forced to build their own version with no real reference. You know, if this thing really is a reproduction of a comm hub, I think we actually might be able to use this.
I'm listening.
We came here looking for another comm hub because the one we've got so badly damaged it won't even turn on. And while it's not exactly what I expected to find here, this Vault-Tec knockoff might still be useful. Call me optimistic, but between this thing and the real comm hub, we might just be able to cobble together something that works.
Glad it turned out well.
That makes two of us. As excited as I am to get out of here and start repairing our hub, I think there's still more to find here. Take another look around. Let me know if you discover anything.
That's right, we gotta unlock that one door. Okay. Yeah, he wants to Starfield a space game with no sentient aliens. That was probably my biggest gripe. I was like, oh man, because you know people at Bethesda loved Mass Effect, right? Because they took the dialogue system and put it in Fallout 4. So like, yeah, the fact that they didn't take the opportunity to make sentient aliens was very odd. I mean, I guess they found a niche because there's not a whole lot of I can't think of many space games that just went like very kind of as low tech as you can, right? Like there's no or low sci-fi as you can, and then all of a sudden you get the Starborn stuff. So it's some very odd decisions in that regard. Almost feels like they started out with the like let's make it kind of low tech, just humans, and then the Starborn thing was like a late addition to be like it needs a little something for people who want to live out that, you know, the Star Wars-y fantasy space side of things.
Jake.
But yeah, it would have been cool to see some more sentient aliens, because we're always thinking about, when we're thinking of new characters and stuff, well, everybody's got to be a human or a robot.
Yeah?
Those are our
Found
options.
something? Hello. What have we here?
Yeah, maybe they'll... I feel like there's still an opportunity for them to introduce kind of anything to the game, because they have
well, how about
they can
that?
fall back on the Unity and
This
such.
holotape contains data for the different ASAM variants. You know, plot types. The different things ASAMs can be programmed for. I suspect Vault-Tec planned to copy the software. Let's see. We got residential, agricultural, and industrial.
Yeah, I hope Skyblivion makes it to
hold up
completion.
a
They
sec.
keep saying that it's going to happen
There's
this
more
year.
data here.
Still a lot of year left.
What the?
Skyblivion will
Recreational
be
plot?
great. I
Commercial?
still have not fully played through
Sick.
Oblivion.
Do you know what you just found?
And part of that was because that was the middle of my MMO time, but also I kind of got turned off by the skill system where you're kind of discouraged from ever leveling up, which I thought was really weird. And I don't think that was intentional. I think that they were hoping that would cause other behavior, but it just made it so I felt like I could never level up, because it was like I need to go skill up all these skills before I level up, and they get locked down, several points below where I'd want them.
I think so.
There's data for 4 new plot types here. 4 more things that ASAMs could build. I don't think Robco ever released these variants. At least not to the general public. This is one hell of a find.
The big one to me that
I'm
was
gonna have to
worse
study
than
this
Skyrim was the bow.
If I could
like the
figure
bow
out
in
how to transfer
Skyrim
new data
feels
onto
so
sensors,
good, so good.
I'm fairly certain we'll soon have more things to build.
They should have ripped off the Expanse. I'm sorry, I'm reading your guys' messages all out of order here. They're just like whatever one catches my eye. The Expanse I've never got into, but I've heard other people say that same thing, that like the Expanse was a good template for what to do for a space setting.
Sounds great.
Well, with that, I think we've uncovered everything we can here. Okay, let me just take a mental inventory of everything we found. We got the schematics to build our own sensors. New plot types, if I could figure out how to make them work. And of course, Vault-Tec's version of a comm hub, which just might allow us to start repairing the one we've already got. To call this trip productive would be an understatement. I knew working with you was a good idea, but damn, I didn't expect us to do this well.
Hey, I'm here to help. You're welcome.
Well, dare I say, you're the most helpful person I've ever met.
It's an awful game all the way around.
All
Wow.
right, I need to start gathering things up. Move
I think
everything
a
we found
lot
back
of
to the hardware
games
store. Oh, wait,
like
shit.
that, and
I completely forgot. I meant to go meet up with someone.
oh, it's time to meet the
I
round.
doubt
I
they'll
think
take
there's a
kindly
lot
me
of
blowing 'em
games
off.
that. Okay, for example, if you go read on online reviews, like if you were to like look through like Metacritic scores or like amalgamated scores of all games and like sort them by greatest game objectively based on review scores, right? It's
A
like
meeting?
What are
Ocarina
you
of Time,
talking
I think,
about?
for years
An
has been
acquaintance
the
of mine.
number one game.
Actually, it's the guy who got us the info on this place.
Now, playing that
Said he
game
needed to
at the
talk to me
time,
once I was
I
done
agree, it
here.
was absolutely
Something
amazing.
about
But then you compare
some
it to like a
important
lot of modern
information
games, and it's
you
like this is not the greatest
There's
game
no
of
way I
all
can just
time,
leave all this
because
stuff
you
here.
gotta like keep games in mind in their context
I know
of when
I'm
they
kinda
came
passing
out.
the buck,
And
but
I know
could you
that's
meet with
less
this
the
fella
case now
for me?
because it's harder and harder for
See what he
games to
wants?
like
I'd really appreciate
create
it.
something dramatically new, but like back in the day when Oblivion came out, there wasn't really anything quite like it. And like the leaps it made from Morrowind, both like visually and like all the NPCs having schedules, like there's just nothing like it. So I think a lot of Oblivion's people's love for it is nostalgia, and like, you know, you can never take away that initial experience of like what it made you feel at the time when it came out.
Sure, I can do that.
Oh, thank you. You're a real pal. Sweeter than a baby's breath. The fellow you need to visit lives up in Diamond City. He's an information broker. He calls himself the Ron. Chances are he wants to sell us some info. And given his past track record, it's probably something useful. So here, take these caps. Pay him and find out what he has to say. Most hours of the day you'll find him in his office, towards the back of the city. Alright, time for me to get this stuff back to the hardware store. This should be a fun challenge of logistics. Once you've wrapped up everything with the Ron, head on back and let me know how it went. Oh, actually, before you go, you might as well take this. Here. That's a copy of the ASAM schematics. With that, you can now build your own sensors. As long as you got the parts.
Nice.
Thank you.
I won't
He doesn't
blame you if
know
you
that
want
we
to test
robbed
out
his
and build a
store.
few sensors.
We got plenty.
Just don't keep the Ron waiting for too long. Anyway, I'll see you later. Good luck out there. Oh, still here, I see. Actually, if you've got a minute...
Okay, so this conversation right here resulted of... We had a conversation early on in writing about, like, I have this habit, and I've watched a lot of other people do it too in Bethesda games, of you just go click on an NPC again after they're done, just to make sure that they have nothing else. And like, so occasionally, if you talk to our quest givers again, they'll have like these little bits extra, especially people that you haven't had a chance to get to know yet much. So there's several times in Sim Settlements 2 where if you just talk to somebody again, you'll get a little extra bit, because this is like just such a habit that I personally picked up playing Bethesda games. And it's like, you never know if they're gonna have something interesting to say.
There's something I've been thinking about.
Sure, what's up?
Well, this Magnuson guy. Just what was going on there? I mean, clearly he had no interest in helping Vault-Tec. And just what was he doing with all the supplies he was stealing? Like the comm hub. Why'd he send that to Olivia? I find it hard to believe Vault-Tec didn't notice that. Did they have their heads in the sand? Or did they just not care? Doesn't any of it strike you as kind of... weird?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Well, glad I'm not the only one who thinks so. But guess we'll never get any answers. Anyway, you've got things to do, and I'm just distracting you. I won't keep you any longer. But thanks for listening. I appreciate it.
Bye.
Hey, I'm going to be a while here. You should head on to Diamond City. The Ron will be waiting.
Okay. All right. So this hasn't broken, but now this is the report we got was taking Nick top of the problem and then talking to the Ron. I assume bringing Nick with to the Ron because I believe the Ron has unique interactions with Piper and Nick. So I'm told that this is the sequence of events. My guess is that the actual issue has nothing to do with bringing him to Hub of the Problem. That was just, they were just telling me what they did, so I could have some context to try and recreate. So I am guessing that bringing Nick here was inconsequential, but we did it. We're just trying to follow these leads. We have quite a few. I've got like 5 things now we can dig into after after we go verify this issue. All right, but let's save again. Potato faces, yeah, with Oblivion. Which is especially funny that they opted to go with the extreme zoomed in camera in that game. But again, probably at the time it was like that was a huge upgrade in their faces over Morrowind, so it was probably more like yeah, let's show them off. Well, and you needed it for the mini game. Never thought to talk to a quest giver after picking up finishing a quest. I'm trying to remember what game. There was a game I played not too long ago where like the only way to trigger quests is to keep talking to the NPCs. I can't remember what it was.
Scaver?
Is it Elden Ring maybe? Where like to get them to give you quests, you have to just keep talking to them. You just keep clicking on them and eventually they say something new. I think that might have been it. Because I don't play that many new games each year. Usually it's like I play a couple of new indie titles and like one big new game every year, and that's about it. Because I don't have time for more than that. This year I'm gonna play. Feels like I'm gonna play nothing because my I think I talked about this last week. My kid got into Magic the Gathering, and I used to love Magic, so now it's like time to rekindle that old flame. I actually just took him last night to a two-headed giant tournament, which was so fun.
Useless. Why are we wasting so much time trying to find this guy? Hey, where do you think you're going? Now you better answer if you want to keep those teeth.
If you're looking for trouble, feel free to try me.
You want to go, tough guy?
Will you just leave them alone? We're not meant to start trouble with the locals.
Yeah? Well, how do we know this ain't the man we're looking for?
He doesn't even match the description. Now come on, let's get going. We got work to do.
God, you son of... You got lucky this time, Wastelander. I better not see your face again.
Thanks, Berman. Quick question. When dropping plots down, sometimes the power pole and base doesn't show up. He's working on a destroy plot, but is that fixable? I mean, if it was repeatable, you're playing on PC, right? I've not had that issue. Because what that generally means is you've got a script backup. So like you're basically your game has just frames and frames worth of scripts it never completed, and it's just struggling to keep up. So like if I saw that happening in my game, what I would do would be put myself somewhere safe, like go to Diamond City or something, and just leave the game running, and then come back to it when I'm ready to play again. And hopefully by then the scripts will have all cleared up, and you shouldn't have that anymore. And I bet those plots that you place down will have their power pole and base when you come back. Both you and your kid get MTG. I'm sorry for your wallet. So I've learned this about MTG because I played a lot in my teenage years, and again in my.
Don't be shy now. No need to stay in the waiting room.
I can't remember if it was either late 20s or early 30s. I played for years, and I figured out the where they get you, and that's trying to play constructed formats, trying to play their like what do you call it, like standard, which is like their tournament format. That'll keep you broke. But if you just make commander decks and play limited, it's a totally reasonable hobby. So that is what I'm teaching him. I'm teaching him how to draft, how to play sealed when new sets come out, because Aether Drift just came out, and then commander decks, because commander cards are super cheap, so we can play that all day long. But yeah, I remember back in the day, I ripped a lot of money on Magic, which I am not looking forward to doing again.
What's the word?
Wait, isn't he supposed to tell me to sit down?
Hey there.
Whoa there. Did it just get cooler in here?
So maybe it is broken with Nick here.
Hey!
Let's see if it starts when I sit. Okay, so I think I know what's going on here. It's because Nick is probably part of the conversation and he's not close enough. So if I command Nick to go over there, if my theory is correct, it'll start working. So let's do a save. Actually, let's do a save like this. Save Ron plus Nick broken. There we go. Okay, so let's try that. Let's go command you.
Hey, what's
you
the plan?
You come in here. Come here. Go here.
Over here.
Can do.
Oops.
No
I just stole his coffee cup.
Oh yeah! I like that look. The kind that says,
Oh, yep, there it
"Don't
is.
start
Okay, so we've got that issue confirmed, and I know how to fix it. So this is a great time to switch to development mode. Perfect timing too, right about halfway through the stream. So we are gonna bop over to, oh, Jason, thank you for the donation. Excuse me, thanks for the stream. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah!
All right, let's get into the CK. So let us bop over to here. And, oh, hold on, I hit the wrong button. Dev. There we go. Nice and quiet. It's so weird without the music now, isn't it? It just goes totally silent like that. All right, so we're in the CK here. And we're going to load up the Ron's quest. And we're going to fix this one. Because this is the one I set out to research. Forgot about all these other issues we were going to run into. But this one should be pretty easy to fix. So I got to find the right quest. The coolest cat here, MQ08. Can everybody see the dev screen, by the way? Powerful thing reminded me, when I build some plots in the settlement and hook up power, then yeet it for a city plan, it'll clear everything but those power poles and lines. Is this normal? I mean, it might just be that you're doing it so quick. If you're doing it too quickly, it could be that the things haven't finished registering with the settlement. But that does sound weird. That doesn't sound like something that should be happening. It should be clearing out anything you built when you start a city plan. Okay, so we want to go to our scenes. So basically there's a scene that starts off this with Ron. So Ron intro loop. This is him just saying, like, you know, don't be shy, come on, how else buy, all that stuff. So this is just him waiting for you to get close. And he is the only actor in this scene. So this scene is fine. This isn't going to break. The second scene, though, my bet is we have probably got Piper and Nick in it. We do. So the issue here is if they are more than 2,000 units, the scene won't start. So the solution to this, really simple. Okay, we already got them optional. We need to look and make sure that... Let's see, we will do pause actors current scenes. And we need to make sure that anything involving Nick and Piper are not required. So I'm going to go through their dialogue and everything and make sure that it's... we don't ignore for completion. So they're already set to... So usually this would be the solution, is the optional. So it's very actually odd that they are breaking it. Because what the optional flag means is that they don't have to be there for this scene to fire. So that means it's actually more complicated than I thought. We are going to pause actors' current scenes in case any of them are stuck in some other scene. So we're going to have to dig into this a little more, figure out what is going on. So, okay, so we've got, let's look at these. So we got a lot of different greetings here. Okay, so this one is going, so you can see some of these are triggered on different stages. Basically, we have a lot of reapproach. What we like to do a lot with these conversations is make it, if the player just decides to pause midway through, we don't have to play through the whole scene again. So we have a lot of what we call re-entry greetings, where they're conditioned on, okay, you made it to the first question, and then we set kind of a flag, and then it's like next time you come back, if you walk away at that point, you don't have to do the whole conversation again. It makes it feel more natural. So we're going to figure out which one. Okay, so he's starting out with the, oh yeah, I like that look. So it's going to be one of these two. So let's look at these stages here. What's going on with them? So we're looking for player has sat down equals 1. Player has sent by Jake equals 0. So that one would probably be true because I did sit down in the chair already before I walked up to him. And this one is, we started the side quest but haven't finished the conversation. Okay. From loop. So there's another entry point over from here, which is right here. And what is triggering this? So this is from loop with no conditions. There is a start condition here of stage 60 equals 1, which we did do. Okay, let's see. Player, okay, continues if the player is within less than 3,000, which is basically just entering the building. That would be 3,000 units. Okay, so he's going to say this line when you first walk in with it, which I think we heard him say. And then what is, so let's see, what is stage 60? And that's what makes it jump forward. Otherwise, it does this loop every 3 or 4 seconds. All right, so stage 60 is player has sat down. Okay, so let's look at that chair, guest chair, and see if it's got a script on it. That's firing stage 60. Okay, so there's nothing on here, but it might actually be on the reference. So we're actually going to open up, actually we'll open that up again. I'm going to open up the cell and take a look in there and see what's going on. All right, so let's click view reference. I didn't have to do this. I could have just done it through the cell window, but I forgot how long the alias screen takes in Fallout 4 because it is so fast in Starfield. Okay, so here we are. There's the run. Here is our chair. Oop, let's click on it. There we go. All right, we're going to check this thing and see if it has any scripts. It does not. Okay, so since there's no script on the chair, there's no script on this, that means we're doing it through our main quest script. So we tend to do a pattern where we put a script on each quest, and we try to do as much as possible from this. And the reason we got into this, doing this, so if you look at like Bethesda tutorials, when I see there's a little typo up here, I can fix that real quick. Not important, this is just little stuff I try to put in the top of the script so that way when I distribute them, people don't feel bad about stealing stuff or feeling the need to come contact me about it. So what we tend to follow this pattern because if you go watch a lot of tutorials, they will suggest you use these fragments. The problem that I have with fragments is not only are there stage fragments, you can also do scene fragments down here. You can do fragments on individual lines. You can do fragments all over the place, and it gets really, really difficult to figure out where things are happening. So when I'm going back to troubleshoot somebody else's work, to try and figure out, trace through every single stage, every single scene, every single topic info, and then there's even things hidden on the scene level. They're just fragments everywhere. It gets really hard to figure out what's going on. So we switched to a pattern where almost our entire quest is run in a single script so that I can just, as a programmer, and this is probably why I prefer this because I'm a programmer, I can just rip through the script and find out what the hell's going on. So, and even these older scripts, like we've learned some stuff from these. So for example, we tend to, because we don't like, again, we started out as being run by a coder, so all the things we do in S2 are in coder form, even though a lot of our designers aren't coders. They've kind of adapted to me. So we don't like a thing called magic numbers, which is like if we had a 60 in the middle of the code, we'd be like, well, what the hell is that? And so we use, names that mean something. So we know that stage 60 actually means player seated. One of the things that we've started doing in our more recent code, like so if you look at like chapter 3 and stuff, is wherever we use these, we will then put the number there as well, because one of the problems we have is when we're looking in the CK, we just have the number and then we're trying to find it in code. So then finding it in here can be easier sometimes when you're just scrolling through the code to be like, all right, this is triggering stage player close to gunners, and now I want to go check on the CK and see what's happening. Well, first I have to search this up to find out, all right, well, wait, what number is that? So now we've started even putting like this, and then you'll see like in some of our code, it'll have like next to it like this, so that we know for the sake of going back and forth. So it's interesting how we've generated a lot of habits to just speed up our workflow over the years. Okay, so we're looking for stage 60. So I'm going to go back to the top here. Stage 60 is player seated. So I search for that and I see that it is set on sit. So we need to look for where are we registering for on sit. So this is happening right at the beginning of startup. So we can actually trigger, so by me sitting down earlier, I actually triggered stage 60, which is interesting because then it didn't continue. So that is very interesting. So I triggered stage 60 when I sat down before I told Nick to come over, which meant that this should start. So it should have jumped into Ron conversation here. And then for whatever reason, it did not. But what's really interesting about that is it also didn't break the loop. Like the loop kept running. So I kind of want to go back to the game a second and see what happens if I don't move Nick, and start running some tests to see what stages are set, things like that, just to get a better handle on what is going on. So we're going to bob back over to the game here. just again walking you guys through how we troubleshoot all this stuff. For those of you who are mod authors, hopefully you can learn something from this. For those of you who aren't, you see
Trouble with me?
you see
Unless you're
you see why it takes so long to get patches out. All right, so we're gonna enter the Ron's office here.
Hey, all right. Another new client. Don't be shy now. No need to stay in the waiting room. Come sit your hip self down.
Okay, so that was... I'm just going to bop you guys back in here real quick. So right here, that is this. All right, another new client. And now the scene is going to go past this because 60 does not equal 1 yet. Equals 0 because I haven't sat down. So it's going to skip past this. It's going to wait between 3 and 6 seconds. And then it's going to randomly play one of these lines here. Then it's going to trigger this because 60 is 0. And we have and stage, I don't know what this is. Get stage. Okay, here's a problem. So this is something that we don't tend to use, which is get stage, which means that, oh look, Nick is right next to him now. So get stage means the current stage right this moment is stage 10. And I tend not to use those. I don't know why we did that there because it's not absolute. Like, it's a tricky situation. So using the get stage condition, Bethesda does this a lot. The problem is if you add another stage later to track something else, like maybe you want to track, like, did the player, say this option or whatever, you might introduce another extra stage in there, and then the get stage is always whatever the last stage was set. So it basically limits how you can use stages if you use absolute stage checking, which is why instead we like get stage done, which is just either did this happen yet or not. It's a little confusing. It's hard to explain that logic without going really deep into it, but this is a red flag to me that we're using get stage here because it can create scenarios that we don't have full control over, basically. So that one's a red flag to me, but in theory, he should just keep repeating these lines every few seconds here, because this right now should be true. So it's going to loop back to loop 2. And so if we bop back over to game and just watch him for a second, we should have him every few seconds here speak another line. So let's see if he's going to repeat another line or if that is indeed broken. Actually, what else I'm going to do is I'm going to run a command to show me what stages have been set so far so we can get a handle on what the status of this quest is right now. So right now we have had stage 10 done, stage 20 done, stage 30, and stage 50. And so let us look at, so we're going to go, I believe it's get stage. See, and it's saying stage is 50. Now let's see, when does stage 50 get set? So I'm going to bop back over to dev. So this is what I was talking about. So right now the assumption would be that the loop would be running, but the loop is not running because we're no longer in stage 10. Again, which this is like a bad, and it may have been somebody, even myself, because I did a lot of the setup for the chapter 1. I may have meant to select get stage done and I just misclicked. But let's go back over to here. I want to see what stage 50 is, since that's the last one that ran. So let's go back up to our top of our stages here. Stage 50 isn't even listed here, so that's interesting. So let's look at here, stage 50, player told to sit. Okay. So let's go back to our scene here. So we're going to change this. So we don't want this to be start. We don't want this to be get stage. We want this to be get stage done. And then we'll have to reselect the stage. Okay, I don't know why this is Gunner Cowboy. I almost think we want this to be player told to sit. So not only was it a weird stage check, yeah, that was just a very weird setup. So now we fixed the loop there. So now he should keep looping through every few seconds and asking, like, hey, what's going on? What are you doing? Why are you just hanging out there? Okay, let's see what this is now. This is if the scene 04 Ron conversation is playing and stage 60 equals 1. Okay, so this is basically a fallback to make sure that if we started this conversation, like if this jumped forward and somehow this leaped ahead, like let's say, for example, we talked to the Ron to start this conversation down here, the MQ0704, but this loop was still running. This condition right here would force this to also jump over to this, so that way we don't get stuck in this loop by accident. Okay, so now that fixes that loop. So since the loop is broken, we're actually not in there right now. So we're actually in this. So the question is then, which one of these greetings should be running? So if we look at all of our conditions over here, expand this over. Okay, so the first one is, well, we're not talking to Berman, so this first one is for Berman. I don't know why this is... Oh, yeah, I forgot. This is something they changed in Starfield that they don't have in here. In Starfield, they separate out the greetings for the scene, so it's more clear. Here, they're all showing all of them, so I'm going to open up this. These ones we grouped together separately. These are just the ones for the run. These are the ones we actually want to look at. Okay, so we've got... Is stage 65 done? Well, we already looked at that. We know that's not the case. We're only up to stage 50. So far... none of these would be true because all of them are looking for stages after where we're at. So once we sit down, this one, stage 60, should be true. So, oh yeah, I like that look is going to happen. So if we look at this, it's going to jump to the phase skip from greeting. So then if we go back to here, close all this out, it should take us right to... So he's going to say, oh yeah, I like that look. Skip over to the kind that says, don't start trouble with me unless you're cruising for a bruising. That's what should happen next. So my question is, why does that require Nick to be nearby when we have Nick set up as an optional NPC? That's very odd to me. So I'm just going to double check. Okay. Combat, it pauses if Thrawn is in combat. We don't care about when anybody else is in. Those are not a problem. Yeah, there's nothing else in here that should make our companion a required character. They're not even part of the previous scene. So this is very odd that this breaks without him being close. And we even have a distance override set, which would mean that right now, so if we go, let me go back in game here. So if we find Nick, okay, good, he's sitting down. We're going to click him. And let's grab him. Nick Valentine. So we're going to do Prid, his ID, 2F25. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm going to need to now find the Ron's ID, or rather we're going to select the Ron. All right, and we're going to go get distance, 2F25. So we're getting, how far is he from Nick? Or from Nick. So he's only 600 units from Nick, and you saw on our dev screen we had this conversation allowed to start up to 2,000 units away. So very odd that this would block anything. So let's try this. Let's go.
Oh yeah!
We'll talk to him. We'll sit down, and we'll try talking to him.
Hey.
Oh yeah! I like that look. The kind that says, don't start...
Okay, now let's do a quick test here.
Trouble with me? Unless you're
see if
cruising
Nick
for a
just happened to wander closer.
I can
No, he
tell
didn't.
You're a guy with his head on straight.
Okay, so if we go back to this one that says Ron plus Nick broken. Maybe it's not broken. Maybe it was just a fluke. Or maybe I was just expecting it to auto start the conversation, but because of that other bug I just fixed, that's why it didn't start. So let's see.
Hey there.
Oh yeah! I like that look. The kind that says,
okay,
don't start trouble with me.
So it was just a fluke. But all right, so we have fixed that loop. So that loop was a problem. It does not look like the Nick thing is a problem because this whole cell is probably 2,000 units or less. So no matter where Nick is, it shouldn't be a problem. So okay, so we're going to call that one solved. So the Nick thing, I don't think is a real problem. I think the actual issue there was the loop breaks and it just makes it confusing. So it's like it's not clear what you have to do. So I'm going to delete this from my tracking list here. Okay, so we're going to call that one fixed. I'm going to leave that there. Now we're going to bomb back into the CK here. And, well, I'm going to put this to our patch notes. So, let's see. Fixed a bug where... I almost didn't capitalize the Ron would stop talking after asking you to sit down during the quest. The coolest cat. All right, and now we'll bump back in here. Okay, so now the rest of our issues were all part of MQ07, Hub of the Problem. So the first one is a pretty easy one, which is the Magnuson photo. So that one, we just need to find the appropriate frame for. So we're going to go to, we're going to search for mag. I believe we put these as movable statics. Or no, they're misc items. So item, misc. This is to, oh, there's a lot of stuff in here. Let's see here. Okay, and then one of the problems that sometimes we have is we're not clear about how we name stuff every time. So I'm going to actually go to that cell and just find the item because I have no idea what it's called. So let's go to Vault Tech. It's not going to be, oh no, this is a vanilla cell, isn't it? We use a vanilla cell for this. This is Vault Tech Office. Here we go, Regional HQ. So we're going to pop into this cell here. Is there a way to have him give you a drink and pie? I mean, we could, for sure. Just have it appear at your inventory. Okay, so let's go. So that was up here somewhere. I'm going to get really lost seeing this in the CK. All right, we're going to want to be in here anyway because I also want to mess with that. We want to mess with that terminal and try and finally fix that thing. That's funny that that is actually a vanilla terminal. Here we go. Here's the place. That terminal that you can't use correctly as a player is actually a vanilla piece of furniture. All right, so here is our bad photo. So let's grab this. Okay, prop Magnuson desk photo. Okay, oh, it was a movable static. I thought it was a misc item so that the player could pick it up, but we made it a movable static. So we need to find a better picture frame for this. So we're going to go, so this looks like it's a vanilla frame that we just did a matte swap on. So let's go to find a better frame for this. So we're going to go to, we're going to search here for picture. And we'll just start popping open some of these and see if some of them have a better ratio. So actually we'll do preview. And let's see, how do you hide the ground plane? Here we go. All right, let's look at these and see if we have one that works a little better. We can also turn it on its side if we have the right, what do you call these? What's the stand thing called on a photo? I feel like it has a proper name. Okay, all of them are designed the same way, which is unfortunate. I mean, I guess we could kind of lay it like this. That's just going to look really awkward, right? Like if you imagine it was on its side and kind of bent like that. It's hard to get the angle right, that you can have it sideways. Let's see what else we have here. An easel? Yeah, I don't know if that's, is that the term? That doesn't, it's not ringing a bell, but maybe that's what it's called. I certainly don't know. All right, let's try photo. No, all right, let's check under, we'll check under movable statics as well. Movable static, picture. All right, zoom out here. Oh, these are big fat ones. We need, I mean, we could use one of these if it's the right ratio, and then we can just flip it sideways. Like we could shrink it down. None of these are great on the frame. Let's try searching for frame. Oof. What is this? Some sort of demo thing. Okay. Yeah, we don't need rocks. Okay. So there's no perfect one. I'm thinking the best we're going to get is probably one of these bigger ones. I want to find one that's the least decorative, and then we can kind of turn it on its side, shrink it down, and maybe we can, if we use one of these as like a static, we can get its little stand there to lean it against, or like we can almost like just use this as like the backing for it, but we'll turn it into a static so the player can't knock it over. So let's try taking this guy. So this is Portrait 05. But we want this is DEST, usually means destructible. It doesn't have destruction enabled, so I don't know why they called it that. Actually, this one doesn't feel right now that I'm looking at it up close like this. Oh, that's why I did the picture frame one is wrong. I want this one. Picture frame portrait 05 is what I want. Okay, this is our winner. So we want this one, and we're going to try and swap this guy. So let's do... Hold on, where's our Magnuson photo? Here we go. Okay, so we're going to have to make a shrunken version of this. So I'm not going to be able to use this exactly. Actually, you know what I can do is I can change this reference. I want to back this guy up, though. We're going to name this one back up before I go messing with this and ruin it. I'll reopen this guy, edit base. Okay, so now that turned into the backup. So now let's switch this back for the regular one. Oh, wait a second, hold on. Okay, good. There it goes. For some reason, it showed me the backup for a second there. Okay, so we're going to switch this guy to this. And then we will... Oh, you get a better view of it right there. But now we want to rotate this. So to rotate this... I think how we're going to do this. Because, yeah, that's going to blank out for now. We're going to get rid of the name because we don't need it. Oh, I guess it doesn't hurt anything to have it there. Okay, and now we need to set up a matte swap for this. So, but we need to rotate it too. So I think what we're going to have to do is make a new version of this. But that actually looked pretty good. At least it got rid of the clipping, even though it doesn't do the full image justice. You know where we have one of these? Hold on a second. There's one we have in chapter 3. We may already have an SS2 mesh for this. Hold on, let me check here. Because we did in chapter 3, we have a picture, another like photograph. Let's see if it's in chapter 3. During the Raph's side quest, there's a picture of some of his old gang. I just gotta find it. Set dressing. All right, hold on. We're gonna just open chapter 3 here real quick. I mean, no, it's not gonna be real quick, but we're gonna open it. Why not just put it on the wall instead? Don't need to complicate things, because I like to complicate things. Trying to do things the way that the writers envision them as best I can. Hey, Mr. Salmon, how are you? Because we solved this already for a chapter 3 moment where we have another similar, like, hand-painted photograph. So I'm thinking if that mesh, if it's already, it'll either already be in the chapter 1 ESM and I just need the name of it, or BA2 rather, or I can move it there without adding any extra space. Yeah, that's probably why it was on the desk. It's just, it's very noticeable and you'll see it while you're grabbing the holotape. And I think that also makes it more of a personal thing as opposed to like, though given Magnuson, him, like the reason that it was, you know, usually a personal photo, you face it toward yourself, right? Magnuson's braggy, so it was facing toward whoever would be sitting in the chair across from him. But the same reason you could see it, he would put it up on the wall too. So my guess is that was the idea. It would be, it's, you know, most people would have a personal photo on their desk, but because it's one he wants to brag about, like, I know Dr. House and I used to be an astronaut, having it face toward whoever sits across from him, it would be very, very Magnuson-like. Yeah, I will actually, I can actually I can shift it over to a misc object and let it be something you can steal. You have to be careful not to scrap it, because, well, I guess I can just make it a non-scrappable object. Answer your question from last time I was in stream. Pro production is slow. It's not like modding where all the systems in place to play with. Oh yeah, I mean it's a very much you're building the ship while you're flying it, right? So you're going to be doing a lot of like preparation work for assets and stuff where you can't like do the final thing because the pipeline's probably not done. Pre-production, yeah, even pre-production and pro production, right? Because you're working for a studio now, so that is the pro level. All right, since the CK takes forever, let's continue with our quest now that we got it working over here. Let's pop back into game. and we will just continue. With
Unless you're cruising for a bruising. I can tell you're a guy with his head on straight. The smart, sophisticated type who really
I should be sitting for
understands
this.
the way of things.
Did I just break it? Oh no, here we go.
Nice to meet a friendly face.
You don't get just a friendly face, my friend. You get the whole package deal. The face, the talent, the unrivaled resourcefulness. You get the Ron!
Oh, that was weird. There was a... Hold on. Was there a delay in him moving his lips? I don't know if that is... You know what I'm going to try?
I need to
Rebooting.
ask you something.
Ask
Whoops.
away!
Didn't mean to
Although
click
I
that.
can't chat for too long, I'm expecting...
Yeah, I think it was a bug in the lip
Correct
sync.
me if I'm wrong, but
I was
get
worried it
the
was
feeling
my
you were sent
capture
here
card
by
screwing up.
Jake.
What do you know about him?
I'm sorry. I don't share information on clients or friends.
That's why I'm here.
When you're right, baby! And 9 times out of 10, the Ron is usually right. Gotta say, I'm surprised to see Jake partner up with someone. Always struck me as the lone wolf kind of guy, you know? But any friend of Jake's is a friend of the Ron's. Now, let's get down to brass tacks. The reason I asked Jake back here was so I could share some information. But since you're his partner, I can tell you the info instead. For a price. After all, I'm running a business here.
You've got my attention. Let's hear it.
As Jake tells it, you and he are building up settlements together. Now that's cool and all. But he's off the gas for a second. Have you stopped to think about the people joining those settlements? After all, it's the people that make a town. And surely you want the best and brightest, right?
Of course.
But you can't always tell who's hip just by looking. Or can you? You ever heard of a vigor tester? It's a kind of science machine, cooked up by pre-war nerds. It can measure a person's attributes. Use it to scan someone, and it can tell if they're
I think
as
that
strong
animation
as
of
a
him
death
slamming
claw,
the fist
or
is on
as
the
weak
wrong
as a kitten, smart as
line.
an AI, or as dumb as a mutant.
I thought it was supposed to be on the "you're
Pretty
right,
rad.
you're right" line when he's all excited.
A useful device, especially for some cool cat wanting to find the cream of the crop. Just so happens, the Ron knows where to find one of these vigor testers. And I'm willing to tell you where it is.
Out with it.
No need for interrogation techniques, Hot Rod. The Ron is more than willing to spill the beans. However, there is a small matter of payment for this information. 300 caps. Sound fair?
You're a businessman, right? You can do better.
Sorry, but the price stands at 300 caps.
Not a negotiator.
Sure. Here you go.
Oh, yeah. First things first, take this folder. That's all the info the Ron could dig up on the Vigor tester. Now, according to the Ron's records, last known location of the tester was Vault 81. But dig this! That vault's still active. Still has residents inside. So, common courtesy says, you knock first. If you can get inside, ask someone in charge about the tester. If it's still there, chances are they'd know. On a side note, if you're looking for able settlers, I got a few leads you might be interested in. Here, this info's on the house.
Vault 81?
What? You never heard of the vaults? What hole did you crawl out of?
I'm from Vault.
They're big underground bunkers
Just cut you off.
built to
Oh,
keep
that's
people
funny.
safe after the bombs fell. And Vault 81 is one of them. But unlike most vaults, 81's still active. And according to the Ron's records, that vault's the last known location of the Vigor Tester device.
Okay, so now I'm looking through right now at the point where we have the fist slamming animation to figure out what's going on there. Bang, fist on table. Yeah, I feel like we put that on the wrong line. By putting it on the... Yeah, I think it was supposed to go in, you're right, baby.
Thank you. I'm sure that'll come in handy.
Ask, and you shall receive. Oh, yeah! Since it appears Jake is busy, I suggest pursuing the vigor tester yourself. If you don't know where Vault 81 is, it's near the old Chestnut Hillock Reservoir. Just look for all the water. You can't miss it.
Thanks for your help.
You are more than welcome. And remember, if you got information to buy or information to sell, then you come see the coolest cat in the Commonwealth, the Ron!
Alright, and now let's talk to the Ron to unlock his recruitment services.
Hey.
Welcome to the Ron's Information Emporium. How can the Ron help you today?
You own this place?
You better believe it, baby! I built the Ron's Information Emporium from the ground up. Where others saw a stinking Brahmin pen, I saw prime real estate. Where others saw useless scraps of paper, I saw lucrative knowledge. And where others saw some dweeb they could push around, I saw a future business tycoon conquering a fledgling market. I saw the Ron! Oh yeah!
Here we go. Find new settler.
I need you to find someone.
Then you came to the right place, baby. If skilled labor's what you need, then the Ron can hook you up. The Commonwealth's just filled with people. Strong mercs, anti-farmers, savvy workers. Whatever your settlements might need, I can find. So, tell me, what kind of person are you looking for? Strong, wise, tough, charming, smart, fast, lucky? Name it.
I'm looking for someone.
Alright, let's go for endurance for food, I guess. Because the other good one right now this early is strength to get lots of junk production. Or agility for... Yeah, we could probably use agility for more defense. Let's do agility.
Fast.
Here. This lead should get you what you're looking for. Come back again. Oh, yeah.
the little quiet, oh, yeah. Alright, who did we get? Who did we get? Let's see. From the Settler Lottery. Somebody at Sanctuary. Okay. Okay, well, I got Chapter 3 loaded up now, so we can continue our investigation into some of these little issues. So let's bob back over to Dev Machine. Back to the silence. Hey, Daniel Moore, how are you? Doing good. We're bouncing back and forth between the game and the CK right now, trying to sort out some issues. So I got Chapter 3 over here. I want to find this picture, which I am going to struggle to remember what it's called. So we're going to do this, and we're going to go to our quests. And see if we can find this quest. So I don't think it's actually, I think this was the last quest we were able to get into. Yeah, this one, NQ06, into Prodigal. So I just need to get into the cell that Kane is in and stuff. But it might actually be called, let's see if it's called, Kane is in the photo name. Movable static, no, static, here we go. Kane's photo. Yeah, look, see, we have a picture. We have a special mesh here. And this should be... Oh, it's just a picture, though, doesn't it? Okay, well, we could lay this against a frame, I guess. This is not ideal. This is like a really wide... This is just like a photo, and it's single-sided, which is interesting. I actually want to jump into the cell to see how it's used. Let's jump in there. Use info. Let's go see how we set that up. Like, if we leaned it against something, we could kind of do the same thing. But I do really like Raven's idea of, like, making the picture lootable. So, if I can... solve both. Ah, we laid it flat against the desk. Okay. Bummer. Okay, then that doesn't solve that problem for us. So let's leave that alone. Maybe we'll address that, make that one collectible in when we get to the Chapter 3 cleanup. All right, let's save this. Oops, close you. All right, so we're gonna need another mesh that's a little bit better size. So what I want to do, because again, we're always weary of adding more space usage to this because Xbox players are bone thin. So I'm going to search for in here. Let's search for frame. See what we've got here. Okay, we've got paintings generic. Oh, so look at this. We have a custom mesh for it already set aside. Interesting. So we may have solved this problem in the past and just never took care of it. So let's try this. Let's find that photo. Let's go back here. So it was set dressing, paintings generic. Oops, back to here. Where to go? Set dressings. SS2, set dressing, paintings generic. Oh, look at that. It is broken. Okay, so, but either way, the fact that we have a mesh here gives me hope because we can edit this mesh however we need to make it work for this, and we won't be taking up any more space because this is likely on the Xbox build as well. So actually I'm going to check that real quick. Let's see, where's my install that I used to upload to Bethesda.net, Xbox One, SS2. Yes, it is in there. Okay, cool. So we can actually make a mesh to make this work. So now we're going to test my skills at NifScope. So let's go to meshes, SS2, set dressing, paintings generic. Let's pop this guy open here. Okay, so it works fine in here. So it's odd that it's not showing up in the CK. And then actually, you know what it might be? Hold on, let me try something in the CK here. If we hit OK, it might just be that I need to hit OK, hit OK, hit OK, and then reload it. No, it's still not showing up here. That's interesting. It shows up fine in the CK. Right, let's refresh. Maybe that's why we aren't using it, because when we tried to swap it in, it did this, and then we ran out of time for the whatever patch we added that in to resolve it. Yeah, okay. But either way, we're going to try messing with this. So we're going to do a couple things here. One, we're going to take this and let's see here. Can we just rotate this thing? Actually, hold on. We'll try. We're going to go to this. Texture, edit UV. And we're going to rotate you 90 degrees. Slide this guy over. So now we've got the full picture. I want to try something. Oops. I'm trying to check and see if there's anything above or below to see how wide this image is and whatnot. Okay, yeah, there is a bit more up here. And now I feel like we've kind of squished it a little bit, so let's take it in this way. I gotta find the right dimension where it looks decent, which is very hard when I can't rotate this quite right. I gotta like literally turn my head sideways to try and see it. So that looks like about the right dimensions where we want it to be. Where'd that other screen go? There it is. And now we need to shrink this guy back down. Okay. All right, so now I've got to figure out how I'm going to rotate this whole thing in a nice way. So let's try something easy. We'll just rotate this on its axis. Oops, wrong axis. I always forget which one is which. There we go, and then we'll do the same to this. Okay. So then the problem I think I see is that like it's going to lean way back to show this, which is kind of a bummer. All right, let's try this. Let's try and take this whole thing and scale it up. 1.2, and then we will slide it to the left a little bit. About negative 1.5, no, a little bit further. Ah, it pokes out the side. I was hoping we could avoid that. All right, let's try this. Let's go negative 1.7. Nope, a little bit further. Negative 1.6. Now, I know people who could just fix this, like Mr. Sandman, who we're talking to, could fix this in 3ds Max in 2 seconds, but I feel like this is a fun challenge now for me to try and solve. And then we're going to move this forward by, nope, other direction. Negative 0.1. There we go. And then we can just skew it just a little bit on the texture. And I think one of the reasons I kind of am doing this myself is just to show like that you guys who aren't artists, you can sometimes fiddle with stuff and get it looking nice anyway. And that doesn't look too bad. And then we can kind of help with the skewing a little by just going a little bit. Oh wait, oh, there's a bunch more on the bottom too. Holy cow, there's a whole bunch more to this. Okay, so then actually we don't need to scale this up. I didn't realize how tall this photo was. This is great. Okay. Oh, you know what? That's starting to look more normal. Okay. All right, hold on a second. We're going to start over here. Reload. Let's get it back to this. Okay. And what I want to do, I want to get a scope for, I want to get like an understanding of how big this photo is. Because I'm not actually, let's open up the texture. Let's do that. Let's go to here. And did we set it as a texture set? No, we didn't. Okay, so we need to go into this. Because so a lot of our images early on, we made them, we didn't have, for whatever reason, we weren't using like standard material sizes. I don't remember why. I think it was just lack of communication. Because when we were first doing this, we were just kind of all winging it. Like none of us really had a full understanding of how everything worked. Yeah, so here's our photo, and it is kind of an odd size. Let's open up. Nope, I didn't mean to hit share. Open with, let's see, do we have Photoshop on this computer? I should. And my computer's locking up. Hold on just a second. Open with, there we go, Photoshop. You trying to break in your mod now? No. Yeah, the photo looks good in the portrait orientation. It's just that there's some of it's being chopped off. So we need to find, I need to get this, I got to find the right scale to make it so that we can see the edges there. So whether it is a case of editing, if I'm forced to edit this mesh of the frame, like whatever I got to do to make it so that this looks a little bit better. So actually what I'm going to do here, just for the sake of like looking at this, let's move this over. We'll just go 20. All right, let's look at this and get a sense for how much we're chopping off of this thing. Edit UV. Okay, not much happened, not much lost over there. All right, there is some lost on that side. So it's just like the image that we're, like the space that this image gives just a little too narrow. But this is actually one of the cool things here. Hold on, let me reload this. With this, because this is such a simple shape, this is probably just like 8 vertices. We can actually edit this in NifScope. It's only 4, even better. Sometimes they do double-sided, so this is only 4. So I can actually just fix this right in NifScope here. Let's see, which one am I? Okay, bottom left, so we'll move that to -8. And then we'll find his twin right here. Switch you to -8. And then let's shift this whole thing. 20 again. All right, and let's go back to these vertices. Let's see, is -10 too far? Wait, hold on a second. Now that we've extended it, now we've got to edit the UV again. Transform texture, edit UV. And then on this side, the same. Okay, and then I think we've still got a little bit of squishing this way, so we need to give it a little bit more space on these vertices. So we'll go to, let's try -10 on both and see how that feels. That feels pretty good to me. What do you guys think? Well, let's look at it compared to the Photoshop version, which won't be skewed at all. Okay, so now I think, okay, so we took it a little too far. So let's go back to, we'll go to in between -9. -9. Let's see how this feels. And then I think we can get a straight on shot. Oh, we're on exactly reversed. What is the flip view? No, that's not going to do it. do you guys think? They're pretty close. It looks so much better in Photoshop than it does in Nifscope. Nifscope does not do justice on the rendering out this image. I think it needs to go a little bit slimmer, honestly. 8.5. Okay, I'm liking that. I'm liking that. All right, let's shift this guy back. So get out of the vertex data. Go back to here. Okay, so now we have the problem of this is too wide for this frame, but we might be able to trick this with just scaling this frame up just a tiny bit. That's a little too much. So let's do 1.05. All right. Okay, and then we are going to take you.
Oh yeah!
Butter Anvil, thank you for the donation. Getting toward the end of chapter 2 for the first time, having issues with lots of quests starting, even using the holotape. Any tips? Like you're having the quests are not starting for you? Like can you tell me which quest that you were last waiting for it to start and couldn't get it to start? Oops. Take this guy to negative point. And we'll go -1. Oh. Oh wait, what am I doing? I want to do it on Z. So -9. And we'll do that on his buddy next to him. So that's that one. There's that one. Change you down to -9. And then we'll take these two. And we'll go up to 8.6. No, a little bit higher. 8.75. There we go. And your buddy, 8.75. Hey, that looks pretty good, huh? We're not missing too much. We're missing still a little bit on the left there. All right, hold on a second. I think we can still do more here. We can still get this better. Let's do... .08. Nope, not 1.8. 1.08. 1.15. Okay. Okay, I think I like this, and I'm just going to shift it to the right a little bit. I think we can afford, because his hand looks kind of funky anyway. It looks like there's some other guy over here with his hand. So I kind of want to just shift this to the right a little bit, and I think that that'll look pretty nice. Actually, I want to do a full, like, let's see how much we're really missing over here, because I think the whole helmet's here. Let's scale this down a second. Okay. Yeah, I really think the solution to this is going to be to get it into 3ds Max. I just haven't used Max in a while, so I know I'm going to screw it up if I do it. Yeah, I was hoping I could just manipulate this in Nifscope and just get this quite right, but we're just going to keep losing one side or the other to do that, or end up with stretching, which I don't like. I'm going to try one more thing here before I pass this project off to somebody else a little more knowledgeable. We're going to try shifting this forward by 0.05. Nope, I always forget Y is reverse. Negative 0.05. Bring it toward us. And then let's scale this guy up back to 1. What I'm trying to do now is if I can bump it in front of the lip of the frame there, that might solve our problem too. So let's go negative 0.1. Negative... Oops. I'm just going to bump it forward a bunch just to make sure, see if this idea has legs. All right, negative 1.1, negative 0.75, negative 0.4, I think this might work. I just got to get a little bit closer. negative 0.35, and then we scale up to 1.05. Need to move it a little bit further to the camera. 0.0. Got the point. Nope, that's the wrong way. Negative 0.4. Okay, we're almost there. We're almost there. Let's see. What we're going to do is we're going to bump the two bottom vertices forward a little bit. Okay, this guy's going to come a little closer to the camera. So, hold on, what was that? Negative 0.6. We'll go to negative 0.8. There we go. And then his buddy next door here. Negative 0.8. Hey, look at that. Okay, now we just need to shift it to center itself a little better, and I want to scale it up a little bit to try and cover up this line down here and here. So let's get this guy scaled up a little bit more. 1.06 maybe. Nope, a little higher, 1.07. And then we're going to skew him just to the... Nope, wrong way. So we want, what, 0.15 maybe? And then just a little bit bigger. And maybe up a little bit. 0.01. Nope, that's too small. Too conservative. I think I like that. You can't see a gap in there. We get to the full image now. There we go. All right, we're gonna call that a day. All right, now I got to figure out why it shows invisible in the CK. But let's save this guy, and then we'll close out the Photoshop. Let's pop back into the CK. We're going to try the simple thing first, which is just F5, refresh. Let's see if it picks it up. Might be that we need to save and reload it, or it could be that there's some weird flag in this mesh. Let's check on that. Yeah, 194 seems sketchy to me as a flag number. So we're going to open up another prop that I think is set up correctly. Meshes, SS2, props. No, we don't want an animated thing. We want something simple. Rabbit foot movable. Sure. Let's see this. What is its flag? 130. That sounds more like a flag I've heard of. Let's try you at 130. Check these for anything weird. Good, they're 14s. Collision is there. Okay, that is questionable too. And I guess 16398. What are the flags they have on this? Selective update, top fade node. Okay. All right, we'll save you. Sometimes getting it to reload, getting the CK to reload NIFs is a pain. Okay. All right, so we're going to try closing this out. Fortunately, chapter 1 loads a lot quicker than the other chapters, so won't be a 20-minute ordeal. All right, close this out. I'm going to open this back up and check for any other little oddities here, like maybe something weird in the material file. We'll open that in a moment. Let me relaunch chapter 1. And let's go to our materials. Make sure we didn't do something. I'm guessing the material is fine because it was working fine on the other thing that we swapped. But just in case. Tiazang, how's your doggy doing? Doggy is doing good, thank you. We're not sure what happened. At first we were worried he had some sort of infection because he had a big old wound in his side from a dog who clamped onto him and like pinned him down, and so we were worried about wound infection because he was all shaky. But now that the wound is healed up, we've cleaned it up and put some Neosporin on there, and it's closed itself up pretty good. Pretty sure it was just shock. Like he's just never been, he's been like nipped at by other dogs when he's being irritating, but never been like full on like this dog was ready to kill him. Let's see here. So, but he's good now. He's in high spirits. He's eating. He's running around playing ball. Good doggo. Okay, let's check this material. I'm actually going to let me compare it to like a generic painting. So I actually have a, let me bring this to another screen. I have too much stuff on this computer. I have Fallout 4 fully extracted somewhere. Or I can grab whatever files we need here. So I can try and find like the painting material file from the base game, and then hopefully that will have the information we need to make sure this material is set up correctly. Yes, Ultra Search, please. Ultra Search used to be the best. I think I've complained about this before. Ultra Search, their 2.x branch was amazing, and then they screwed it up with the 3.x. So I can't update anymore, and I can't get it on my other computers because they don't have the. It wasn't open source or anything. All right, we want painting. Paintings, portrait. Sure, one of these should work. No, no, never update, never. Okay, so let's see if there's anything weird we did in here. This all looks the same. In fact, I would guess with near certainty that we cloned this when we started. So it shouldn't be anything weird with the material file. So it could be the actual texture, but the texture was working fine in game before, so I don't think that's the case. I'm hoping this is just a matter of we need to reload the CK so it catches the changes we made to the NIF file. Because I don't see anything like blatantly weird about this mesh. I guess we'll go check painting. Let's see. So one of the things Bethesda does I really like is they are fairly consistent with their pathing. So like whatever the material path is, the mesh tends to be the same path. So I can go into the unpacked folder I have here and look under meshes, set dressing, painting's generic, and it should be there too. Not a guarantee, but it's usually the case. And they immediately made a liar out of me. Where are your painting? Let's see, maybe they just stuck it in the folder above. Okay, well again, this is why I like Ultra Search. Is it has this little right click inside a folder and hit search here, and it immediately searches that specific spot. All right, so I think they call them frame in, yeah, picture frame here. So we're looking for picture frame portrait. This is the one we've been playing around with. This isn't the exact one, but either way, it will... Oh, this is one for workshop mode. No, we don't want that one. Okay, well, let's just check and see if our Magnuson photo is visible now. Nope, still invisible. Okay, so there's still something funky with either the NIF or the material file. All right, so we need to find our frame here. Nope, not that one. This looks like our guy that we're using. Yep, frame 3 dirty. Okay. So let's see, what about our NIF is different here? What did we screw up? So 194 for BSX flags. Okay, so that was correct. It wasn't 130. We've got our tri-shape. These look identical other than all the random little offsets I did, but it was invisible before that, so it's not that. So let's just see here. Okay, so here's a potential issue in our flags. So we have vertex colors checked in. Let's uncheck that. Okay, and then let's check. Well, the frame we know is good. We only need to worry about this inner thing because that's the one that's not displaying. So let's see if just removing vertex colors is enough. It could be that those maybe they had alpha set to them. So let's go in here and there it goes. Yep, that was it. So it was just the vertex color needed to be removed. So let's get that out of here, get that out of here. It is very dull, but that might just be because of the lighting. Yep, there it goes. Okay, it was just the lights were turned on. There we go. Looking nice. Okay, so then we can get rid of this backup since it's not being used anywhere. But we do want to change this over to a MISC object so people can steal it. So we're going to go ahead and go into items, MISC, and we're going to create a new one here. Desktop photo lootable. And we're just going to call it photo. And actually, before we do this, let me check and make sure the collision type is right. Okay, does anybody remember, any of you guys who know CK stuff? Sandman, are you still around? Is white collision movable? Or do I need to fix the collision on this thing? I think white collision is movable, but I can't remember. I think red is static. I think anything that's not red we're usually good with. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's set our model here. There we go. And then we're going to want a preview transform. So we need to find another photo, or another picture frame so that we can match it. So picture frame desktop. Well, Dirty 03 I think was the mesh we used. So let's just copy all the stats from that so we can give it the same weight and value and stuff. So weight 1, value 2. We won't set the components because we don't want people to accidentally scrap this thing. MISC picture means, and this transform is how you look at it in your inventory, so it'll position it correctly. That's why sometimes when you see mod added items, they're like gigantic in your inventory. It's because they forgot to set the preview transform. Okay, so that should be that. So hit OK. Cancel out here. Cancel out here. Save this. All right, so now we need to go into the Magnuson cell again. So it was Vault-Tec HQ. Here we go, Vault-Tec office. And then we're just going to swap this over. Now, it's not going to work in existing saves. I don't believe. It might, though. It'll be interesting to check. Maybe we'll check it tonight if we have time. I don't know if I'm going to get this plugin over or not because this is such a minor thing to change. But this is the type of stuff, this is why I want to do this playthrough, because all this minor stuff takes a lot of time. And I think it has a lot of value long term. Like, it just feels good to come back and have all these little flourishes taken care of. By the way, was Jake leaving the church fixed? He walked out the door into the street. I haven't, is that in, that's in like quest 12 or something, right? I haven't gotten up to that one yet. Because we're only on quest 8 right now. I do have another note for quest 12 but it was like some little polish thing that we never did. Okay, so now we have the full photo. And we have, it's lootable in theory. Okay, so that one will cross off the list. Okay. All right, this computer terminal. Okay, first of all, I want to check. What I want to check is, does this thing have stuff on it? I think it does. It does. It has actual like data you can read. So people are going to want to see this. So what we need to do here is, all right, let's try and I'm going to try and find another one of these terminals that actually works correctly. What is this terminal style called? Hold on. This is called console. Okay. Console terminal. We're going to see if we can figure out why this thing is mispositioned here. Okay, so this is the right one, right? This is the same one? Yeah, it's the same one. So I need to check, is this being used anywhere? User, use info. Okay, there's one on the Pridwin and Green Tech Genetics. Okay, so it is used in other places. So you just found a new model to use. So it turned out that we had a model for this that wasn't quite set up correctly. So I fixed it and then I adjusted the image size so that we could get the full scope of the image, is what I ended up doing. So we already had an image and it just wasn't. And actually I'm going to put that on, I'm going to put it in the patch list. It's so minor, but I need to, putting it in the patch list will remind me to update the BA2 files. Fixed a photo found during the quest of the problem that was causing it to be cropped incorrectly. This photo is now a lootable item. Okay, and that will hopefully remind me to actually update the BA2 for because even though the mesh will still, like, it'll still work even with the old mesh, it'll just be like that invisible. So it'll be like an invisible photo. So it's not going to crash games if I forget to update it. It just will look stupid. So we do want to fix it. But all right, so what I want to find out here is what about this is different. And actually what we should, we should also check. We're going to bop over to the game. Let's go to where this one is being used. So let's go use info. Let's check and see if it's broken in the base game too. So let's go to Green Tech Genetics. We're going to double click on this. When he cleans up the tape from Maiden. Yeah, martial law. Well, martial law, that's in chapter 2. So yeah, far away from that still. Okay, so in Green Tech Genetics, let's check and see if this has like blocked player or something. Like maybe this is just not a usable terminal. It does have a lock on it, but we can cheat that. Edit base. There's nothing on it. Okay, well, what I want to do is go back into the game and let's COC over to this and see if the base game hunt has the same problem. So let's make ourselves a save here. Save CLP day. What did my stream say we were on? Day 7? I think day 7. We'll call this end of session, even though it's not really. But this is probably where we're going to leave off our progress in the playthrough. And then we're going to go. I think Green Tech Genetics is. It's not the. I feel like it's gunner controlled or something. We're going to TGM just in case here. COC Green Tech Genetics 02. And then we're going to hope I can move myself right to this terminal. The one near Tegan's camp works. Near Tegan's cage works fine. Okay, so so that's the one that was shown in the Pridwin. All right. Let's see. Player dot move to 56 D9B. Okay. Oop. Okay, so here's this terminal.
We'll be able to hack this.
So we need to unlock it. Oops. I think you can do unlock in the terminal. Unlock terminal, yeah, there we go. Alright, so now we use it, and it animates us correctly. Okay, good. So it's nothing, there's nothing wrong with the model. There is something, so we just need to go back and compare these two records and see where ours went off the rails. Because I'm told everybody says that when they go to use ours, and I guess I should have checked that. I just have been assuming everyone's correct. When you go to use ours, it makes you look at it weird. Is that accurate, guys, still? Like you can't actually, the screen is not centered correctly when you try and use the Magnuson one. So let's check our keywords. So our keywords are the same. We're good there. Our markers and, let's see, our mesh on tall is correct. The marker shouldn't matter, but it is the same. So the only thing left is the interact point. So something about interact point maybe is wrong. And our interact points are identical. So that is very strange. It's cropped off at Voltec. See, as far as I can tell from this, there's no reason that ours should not work. But let's load back over to the game. And since we're just COCing everywhere anyway. Voltec Office 01. Nope, I got the, hold on. Oh, I added an H in there by mistake. Get that out of there. There we go. All right, let's pop back over to this terminal and see how she looks. But yeah, our terminal is set up correctly based on what I'm seeing in the CK here. Oh, did I go too far? Nope, here it is. Okay. So obviously we haven't patched that in yet. We're still using this. Okay, so Magnuson's terminal. See if there's anything weird about this. Use. Yeah, see, it's like putting us really low. Okay, so what it might be the case here. Let's try this. Let's check. It might be our positioning. Let's do prid 14. That's us. Get POS Z. So we're at 979. What is this terminal at? Get POS Z. It's at 980. Mod POS Z. So it's by 0.72. Okay, so now we're at the same Z height. Let's see if that makes a difference. Nope, same thing. Very odd. Let's try this. Let's do disable, enable. Try it again. No, that's still not right. That's still correct. Let's check the angle on it. Get angle X, get angle Y, get angle Z. Okay, I was like, if it was on a weird angle, like an X or Y angle, that could cause that too. But it is not. Angle Y, -2. Nope. Set angle X. Oh, we want it +2. Alright, let's try this. No, that doesn't do it. I am very confused why this bug is even here. This is a vanilla terminal. We've got our setup identical to theirs. Yeah, the only thing that makes sense to me would be positioning of it or angle of it. Let's see here. Oh, I guess I should bring it back over the dev so you guys see what I'm looking at. So I'm trying to look at this 3D data to see if there's anything. Oh, scale. Here it is. We got it scaled to 1.07. Let's try that. Let's go back to here. Let's do set scale 1. And then, hold on. Disable. Enable. Now let's try using it. Ta-da! Okay, so somebody got cheeky with the level scaling. Probably me. I probably scaled it, thinking it looked nicer at that scale. All right, so then we just rescale it, and we fix this, and we're off to the races. So let's go ahead and get back into Dev Machine. Scale this down. Whoops. Did I just accidentally scale the wrong one? I hope I didn't just accidentally scale the green. Oh, no, I didn't. There would be a little asterisk next to green check genetics if I had scaled that by mistake. Okay, good. I was worried I just edited a vanilla cell, which is a pet peeve of mine when people do that. All right, let's pop back over here. Mystery solved. Okay, so let's put that in the patch notes. Fixed a bug with Magson's terminal during the quest. Hub of the problem. That would cause the text to be cut off. Yeah, that report has been in since we released this because I could never figure out why that happened. I was like, well, that's a vanilla model. We didn't do that. But some idiot, probably me, scaled it up and broke things. Oh, let's do one at a time here. We got these two panels. Let's shrink these down to fit. let's get these down to 1 as well. Okay. And that should take care of that. Okay, that's that one solved. Another mystery gone. Player can't use terminal. And you know what's interesting is I bet that will also change how how the camera works with Jake. Let's test that. So that we got to go back in game for. So we're gonna have to. Yeah, we got to check that too, Yagi. Did we just break Jake in the process? So let's let me get us back in game, but actually I need to copy this file over to that computer. Let me do that too real quick. Alright, I actually got to copy a couple files because I made some earlier edits this week to the plugin. We'll drop these in here for now. So I'm hoping for next patch that we're going to have some new building plans, because Pesky Fox made a lot of cool agricultural building plans and tried to do them in a way that it does not require any new meshes, so that we can have them for Xbox as well. So we may have a bunch of new agricultural designs coming in the next patch. Right now we're waiting on, we found out today that they have a lot of DLC parented to them, so we can't use them as is, but hoping we can get that sorted. All right, let's open this up. So that is, I'm hoping a patch next Friday is the goal. I don't know if I'll hit the deadline. It'll be next Friday or the Friday after. All right, let's see here. We want mod files, package directory. Here we go. I know you guys can't see what I'm doing. I'm just talking myself through it. Fallout 4 data. Paste these in. Okay, so what we'll have to do is we're going to need to go back to a save before we entered the Vault-Tec office, I believe, for this to work. So let's see what we got available. Factful 4, F4SC. So if this is resolved, then if this resolves the Jake thing as well, then the only thing I have left to fix is sequence breaking when you exit the building. And that one might be tough. That one might be tough to troubleshoot. Okay, let's see what we've got back here. Okay, cool. So here's our quick save right before we approach Jake. So that will have to work. So we'll just speed through dialogue and stuff to get caught up here. Yeah, Phil, I agree. They're very nice looking. He has captured our the style of like Bethesda's junky style, which you guys know I love, and that we try to do too. Fits. They felt right at home with the rest of the base mod plots. Like I know some folks want different styles and stuff, and that is why we have the add-on system so they can have them. But I like having a uniform style in the base mod, so that way it feels right at home with the rest of the game. Yeah, that's fine. Critical error. Go away. It's fine.
Hey, Slick. Say, you spoke to any of the
jump.
people around that old...
Yeah,
Those
right. Nice to see you getting out.
Well,
Anything I can do to help?
as a matter of fact,
Uh-huh.
if however, as
Sounds good. Let's go.
I knew I could...
Okay, let's TGM since we're trying to speed run this, and then we can
How's a place like this survive out?
use our infinite instigating double barrel shotgun. Okay, so when we get up to the room, the photo will probably now be invisible because I have the change in the CK to point to that other mesh, but I don't have the updated mesh with the fixed flag and the sizing. So there was that accidental, we had that vertex color flag, which was causing the thing to not render. And that is still going to be in the mesh that I have on this computer. But right now we're just worried about the terminal. Did we fix that? Both for Jake, because it'd be awesome if the scaling is also what made his camera all funky. But I'm guessing my luck is going to be that it's going to make it worse, and we're going to get some more creepy, zoomed in, halfway into his skull camera work out of the game. The picture won't be a quest item, no, but I did set it up so that it's not flagged as junk. It has no components, so you won't accidentally throw in your junk. It'll just be sitting in your inventory. So if you have something like OC Decorator, you could turn it into a workshop item or something.
Apparently, they were expecting a comm hub.
Barrels!
Playing Doom now.
Watch it, we got barrels!
No reloading.
Folks won't be
Alright, Jake. You're good.
Alright.
Let's see if Frankie
Looks like
comes
we're in
down
the
again.
Vault Tech headquarters. Well, that's kind of weird. Assuming this is the right...
Yeah, something like that. That sounds familiar.
I can't shake the... Maybe this guy was in charge of delivering hubs or something?
Coming for you, Frank. Where's he at? Where's he at? 6S. I love that we own that track. I don't have to worry about getting copyright striked.
Hey, look there. I think we found the office. Ah, good. Got a working terminal. Just give me a second here.
Oh, but now I can take it. So it did switch over to a movable. That worked, even an existing save, so that's nice.
Whoa. This is some serious security. Ah, damn it.
Well, still up close. At least it's not inside his face.
Oh, come on.
That's what I don't like, the
all right, terminal,
clipped into
you asked for it.
into the mouth where you see the creepy teeth.
Finally, I'm in. Okay, let's see what we can learn. Huh. Well, I never. I think I discovered why Vault-Tec was so interested in ASAM equipment. If I'm reading this right, it looks like Vault-Tec was trying to develop a rival product to the ASAM sensors.
Oh, this is just like a standard double barrel shotgun. I just put TGM on so I can just shoot it without reloading. I think it does have it's got the instigating legendary effect, which is actually really powerful with this if you can catch somebody before dog meat grabs them.
What makes you think that?
He's terminal.
Okay. All right, so we still got up close Jake shots,
by his terminal entrance,
but we're not getting
I don't
teeth
think this
shots.
guy took his job here very seriously.
Sure. That's a hell of a risk.
The nerve on this.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I don't think we're gonna
So
find.
now we just need to make sure that we
here.
can use it, and we'll be.
Why? What's going on?
Vault-Tec were expecting a comm hub to be shipped here, but this Madison guy hijacked the delivery.
I think I can also stop him
It's okay.
pointing his gun at the player. That should be pretty easy.
Uh-huh.
Looks like we're stuck with the... Maybe we should investigate this rival product. The terminal said this place has a warehouse, although terminal also... There's gotta be one around here.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't break Jake. Now let's make sure we can use it. Move, move, move. Cool. Can read all the entries. Okay. So we will call that fine for now. All right. So then the next thing, the last one I want to try and fix, and I don't know if we're gonna get it done tonight because I only got about 15 minutes left before I gotta call it. Is I want to see if I moved you guys to the other screen, but I didn't move myself. Oops. I want to see if we can figure out why hub would break when you leave the cell. Okay, so I want to go to the sub-basement because we found out that skipping ahead for the elevator does not break things, which is great. But going outside does for some reason. So let's look at what some of these trigger boxes do and which ones are ours. So I'm going to get this layers out of the way. Okay, so this is not a trigger box. Nor is that. Activate self-trigger, that might be one. That's just the camera thing. All right, let's see what this is. Is this ours? No, this is a default, vanilla default activate self-trigger. That's probably what starts those ghoul encounters. Probably when you enter into that space, it triggers the ghoul to stand up. So I can hide that guy. It's not our problem. What's this one? This is just makes followers say things when you get down here where Nick was like, oh, kind of a dirty old place, ain't it? What's this one do? We don't usually use these, so I think they're vanilla. So yeah, this is going to be another one. Probably starts an ambush. About more of the mists. Activate self, Vault-Tec office encounters. Yeah, these are all to trigger the ghouls, I think. So none of those are doing anything that we are concerned with. So we're not using any trigger boxes, it looks like, which is good. I prefer not to use a lot of those. Let's see, what about this one? This one is ours. Default set trigger only. What is this thing doing? It's probably setting a stage when you enter it. Ref on trigger enter. Stage to set 131 if 90 is set. Okay. So let's see. Let's go back to MQ07. So we're saying if 90 is done, that's our prereq stage. So if the terminal is red, like if Jake finished reading that, then we set 131. Okay, good. So we're not setting entered basement unless that's done. That's correct. And then that's just a puddle. That's just a decal or a moss decal. Okay, so that trigger box isn't doing anything. So what about this trigger box? What is this one? Trigger box only. This I'm getting is set the same way. 90. Oh, this is setting 120. Okay, maybe this is part of our problem. Let's see. What is stage 120? Player locked pick way into basement. Okay. So that doesn't affect anything. Okay, so what that could cause, oh, but it has a 90 requirement. Okay, so this is another one of those cases where I'm a little nervous about. So this default ref on trigger enter. These scripts are interesting. They're very handy, but they have a flaw to them, and we've dug into it. They all extend these default trigger states, and in them, they have the same problem I was trying to describe earlier where I don't like using get stage. They have a failsafe in them where they won't set a stage, like this stage to set won't get set, if the quest is already past that. It'll just ignore this, which I think is a crazy decision. I don't know. I mean, I think they were trying to protect themselves from quests firing out of sequence, but it just handcuffs them so much for how they can use quest stages. So it's a very odd design decision in that. And maybe it was the lesser of evils to help with designers who were making bad decisions. But so we tend to not use these default ones. We made our own version that doesn't have that failsafe, and that will just do what it's told. It'll set the stage when we ask it to. But again, this is not enough to have sequence broke the quest. So that still does not explain it. So that tells me it's got to be something either on an alias or, like I was explaining earlier, we tend to try and put as much logic as possible into one script. So I'm going to look for any events we're monitoring. Maybe we're monitoring for the player to teleport and doing something that we shouldn't. So we've got on player teleport. We do have that here. If get distance vault is less than 500, set Jake in sub basement. So let's check where let's see if we're registering for player teleport somewhere. So teleport, register for player teleport. That happens when stage 131 is set, and stage 131 can only be set after 90. So that's not it. So that's not causing the problem. Okay, so let's go back to game, and then we're going to load up the save that I made that was like, everything is broken. I think it was this one, hub broken. And we'll see what stages are set and whatnot and see if we can figure out what's going on there. Okay. Okay, so let's see what our stage situation is here. Okay, so 131 is done because we did enter the basement after the terminal is read. So I think our problem we determined was that Jake was nowhere to be found. He didn't make it down here. So let's try a couple of things here. Let's try, you know, I listed as broken. Maybe it's not. Let's try doing this.
Hey, nice work.
Here comes Jake.
Hidden trapdoor, huh? Now we're talking. Well, after you.
Okay, so it's not fully broken. We do have a fallback there, but I would like to know why Jake's not teleporting down. It's a little unnerving. So let's see here. Let's see what makes him teleport. So let's go back to dev. And let's see if it would be not, you know, I need to find a way to have like the background music from the game to keep playing. It feels weird to just go to stark silence. How are we moving Jake? Let's see here. All right, first let's find where's stage 90 on here. Okay, so we're finding Madison's office. If the key card is already found, we switched head to basement. Okay, so then this scene is going to make Jake say his thing, and then that will trigger some other stage, probably this one. If we've already done this, read the Magnuson terminal, unfound key card. So if we found the key card, this is basically saying if we found the key card after we found terminal, then we move Jake behind us so that we can immediately play that scene. Otherwise, in the other direction, if he read the Mag's terminal, you're going to be standing right next to him, so you can immediately trigger it without having to move Jake because you know where he is. In this case, if you found the key card, you would have just been in a fight, so we don't know where he is. That's why we have to do that. All right, so then activated key card reader without the card. With the card, we grab the elevator, make it functional. Makes sense. Stage, entered the basement. We're moving Jake. So this didn't happen for some reason. We got to 131 and it didn't move Jake. Or, alternatively, it did move Jake, put him in some weird spot where he couldn't reach a nav mesh. And then the scene got stuck. So this might be a case of a very minor tweak will fix this bug. This may have been totally unrelated to you leaving and coming back. This may have been a case of this trigger box here needing to move slightly. So the issue at hand would be that if it moves you behind you and it's right here and it moves him into the elevator cell and for some reason the nav mesh is a problem, maybe because Nick is with, or, you know, an NPC is with you or whatever. So we could probably fix this by just moving this trigger box a little bit. So first I need to get rid of whatever is here blocking my mouse movement. Here we go. So we're going to move this just a little bit. Give ourselves some room. The player still can't bypass it, which is why it was so close. You don't want to, but like someone would have to be, like, I don't think they could even sneak by here because the players, their actual hitbox is something like this, slightly smaller than a floor tile. If I grab a Raider, I can show you. Let's see. Yeah, this guy will work. Drop you here. So you can see that their hitbox is going to be minimum that wide. So the player would have to like pop in and like intentionally scurry over here to avoid it. But actually, you know what we can even do to avoid that? We can actually just rotate this. So let's turn off snapping and we'll just do this. Now it's not possible for the player to bypass this, but there should still be room for Jake to spawn behind them. And we can make it even better. We can do it a little more of an angle. Make Jake appear this way, and we can do a number 2 to change the shape of this a little bit. Give the player a little buffer before Jake appears. So if somebody's trying to be cheeky and bypass it, they can't. The other thing we can change is we can switch to our version of this script. So let me see if I have it. Trigger. We're going to go... going a little bit slow. Searching through all the, oh, it's because I have incompatible checked, so it's looking through every single script instead of just the ones that can go on average references. So that I can fix in a moment. I gotta let it finish its search though. So fortunately, it looks like we can, the bug with the going outside breaks the hub problem. We can confirm that that is not really a problem. It's just it feels broken unless you know to go click on the map. Then you can force it forward. So at least there's something to tell people who are like, who ran into this already, to be like, just go activate the mat and then the quest will advance. The only time it ever bugs for me is if you built a dog and a free companion. Yeah, what I'm thinking happened to us was that Jake tried to teleport behind us and he got blocked by Nick. That's what I think happened. That's why I'm trying to like move this, and I might even move it a little bit further, like maybe over here and make it a long thing, so that way the player has all this room to walk around and they'll have to touch this before he teleports. So it can, again, reduce the likelihood that another NPC is blocking the nav mesh. So we're going to go uncheck incompatible, and then I prefix all of our scripts with a v2 as their namespace. So now we should be able to reduce this down. Okay, we actually don't have a version for refs. I think we have an alias version. Let's see here. We'll try enter. Set stage on trigger enter. Here's what I'm looking for. So this is our version of it. It's basically the same thing. We want to set 131. Required stage is 90. We don't need a turn off stage. And then the quest to set is MQ07. Oop, not 907. I wish we had 907 quests. And we only want the player to activate this, which is already true. And now I want to compare it real quick to these to make sure I got that right. Stage is set is 131. Prerequisite is 90. Double check one more time. 131 and 90. 90 is required. 131 to set. And now what this will do by switching to this one is if for some reason the quest got set to a higher stage before it got to this, this will still fire. So if somehow something happened that caused one of any of these multitude of quests down here to trigger beforehand, which it shouldn't be possible, but if one of them did, it won't break the quest. Is basically what we're doing here. So that should be good there. Okay, so then let's further adjust this. Again, just give the player a lot of room for nav mesh, because I know a lot of people like to play with like everyone's best friend or multiple framework companions. So let's just make sure that there is as much room as possible while still making sure that Jake shows up fairly quickly, right? You don't want him to like, the goal with the move behind player is so the player doesn't see Jake magically appear. So that is about as best as we're going to get. All right, so we'll put that in the patch notes. Modified trigger in basement of Vault Tech offices. I always had an H for some reason. To try and avoid an issue that could prevent Jake appearing behind the player after they exit the basement, the elevator. I already said basement. Okay, so we will call that one crossed off our list. So the only thing I still have left on my list from today is something I mentioned earlier, which was I need to ask Sarek about this basement sequence, because I remember there was something different we wanted to do where it was going to have like a button under this desk which would activate it instead of this like blatantly obvious button over here. And I think we went with this blatantly obvious button because we kept having testers not figure out how to find the mats or something, or maybe it was supposed to be like you push the button and then a seller, something slides and appears, and we didn't know how to do the animation for it. All of these things I know how to do now, so now it's just like, all right, kind of whatever. If we had a particular vision for it before, I can try and implement it, but it might be the case of like Sarek said, no, that's fine with the mats. What you did works out fine, and then I'll just leave it because sometimes it's not worth. Some of these things end up not being worth doing because they don't add enough, right? In the case of the button, I think the idea was this doesn't make any sense, right? Why would they have a button right next to the entrance? It would, if it's meant to be a secret thing and covered it with mats, you would want that. You wouldn't want the button right next to it. Like I think we put it there as like a at least the player will find that, they'll click on it, they'll hear a sound nearby and like, what the hell was that? It was kind of the idea. But some of those decisions that we made in any of the chapters, there's certain points where we get to like, we're like nearing the end of development, we get stuck on a quest and it's just like, I have no idea how to do this. I don't know who to ask. We got to move on. We can't get stuck on this. So for example, in chapter 3, the quest that happens in Vault 111, there were supposed to be like 3 more, or I think 2 more little puzzle things that happen on your walk to break up the walk and make it not such a big exposition dump. And then there was supposed to be of like 4 different ways to get the safe to come up out of the water. And like we ended up trimming that way down because I had to build that whole quest in like 2 days. So occasionally we have to, we got to snip some of these ideas, but that's why we're doing this cleanup play. Let's try and get some of that stuff in, get it closer to vision. All right, guys, thank you for joining me tonight. I think all the changes you saw will be in the next patch, which will be either not this coming Friday, like not Valentine's Day. It'll be either the Friday after or the Friday after that. So looking at the calendar, it's going to be either on the 21st or the 28th, depending on the rest of the changes I want to get in. And so I'm guessing, so if it doesn't come, if it's going to come out next week, then whatever we do on the next week's cleanup won't make it in. But if it doesn't come out to the 28th, then next week's cleanup stuff will also go in there. But all right, guys, I will catch you later. I'm going to get some sleep.